Under the somber twilight sky, a grand mansion stands, its illuminated windows hinting at the lavish world within. Inside, a decadent party unfolds, filled with smiling, well-dressed guests. In stark contrast, Baek Jung-hyuk kneels on the floor, his back to the revelers, a humiliating spectacle for the man in the tuxedo addressing the crowd. A luminous blue orb of energy hovers above Baek Jung-hyuk's hand, a display of his unique, yet seemingly undervalued, power. Baek Jung-hyuk's face remains obscured by his hair, his posture one of forced submission, the weight of the situation pressing down on him. The tuxedoed man beams with a grotesque pride, gesturing widely as he announces, "Look, my latest collection." He points triumphantly at Baek Jung-hyuk, still kneeling between two stone gargoyles, declaring him the living lamp, to the amusement of the guests. With a chilling grin, the man asks the crowd if they recognize his acquisition, reveling in Baek Jung-hyuk's public humiliation. He cruelly exposes Baek Jung-hyuk's past, revealing he was once known as Bai Xing, an F-rank ability user with a mere 1200 power level, whose glowing orb is merely a decorative porch light. The man continues his taunts, mocking Baek Jung-hyuk for not even being a sealer and claiming that without his kindness, he would have been sold for his organs. As the guests erupt in mocking laughter, a dark thought surfaces, resonating with Baek Jung-hyuk's inner despair. There are no good people in this world, followed by a chilling, internal vow, "Kill you all." His red eye, filled with a cold, murderous intent, narrows as he repeats the internal promise, "I'll kill you all." Baek Jung-hyuk's face contorts in a primal scream, his power flaring as he unleashes a desperate, furious declaration, "Extinction of all mankind." The world itself is declared polluted as disaster strikes without warning or discernible pattern. The once majestic statue of the Imperial Valkyrie mutates into a grotesque, dark entity, its eyes glowing with malevolent power. Regiment of colossal, 100-meter-tall stone giants is summoned, their massive forms laying waste to the once beautiful city, reducing it to rubble and flames. The mana trench transforms into a swirling dimensional vortex, from which an endless army of alien creatures swarms forth, their glowing eyes piercing the darkness. Advent Island is consumed by an insidious fungus, becoming a breeding ground for grotesque, multi-eyed demons that overrun the landscape. A bizarre phenomenon occurs as a handmade items shop in Sterculia Leaf City transforms into a two-dimensional picture book, appearing randomly across the globe. Buildings and countless humans are violently sucked into the sky, drawn into the mysterious book, leaving no escape from its terrifying grasp. The very fabric of reality warps as even mundane objects, falling leaves, a leashed puppy, or items held in one's hand can spontaneously transform into dangerous pollutants. In a mere 6 months, the human population plummets from 12 billion to a devastating 6 billion, leaving behind a desolate landscape littered with bones and stalked by winged demons. Amidst this despair, a new hope emerges. The sealer appears, standing defiantly against the monstrous threats. These sealers, empowered by the very pollution they fight, gain immense wealth, honor, power, and status, becoming humanity's champions. Wielding elemental powers, they engage in fierce combat, their primary mission to seal away the dangerous pollutants threatening existence. They rise as heroes, the final guardians of mankind, their powers shimmering with destructive potential. Baek Jung-hyuk, now in his school uniform, dismisses the grand narrative of sealers, mockingly asking what it has to do with his former self, Bai Xing. His red eye glints with a sharp, confident resolve as he lets out a curt, dismissive humph. With a confident smirk, Baek Jung-hyuk announces his rebirth, stating, "Surprise, Pushkin, I was reborn." Standing amidst other students, Baek Jung-hyuk bitterly declares, "Human? Heh, all my pain comes from humans. Humans should be exterminated." The sinister smirk, Baek Jung-hyuk reveals his plan. First of all, start with the schools. He gestures towards the vast stadium filled with students, declaring his intention to begin his purge with the sealer qualification exam. Suddenly, a tattooed hand clamps down on Baek Jung-hyuk's shoulder, a forceful interruption to his thoughts. A burly, blonde man with a Hawaiian shirt and tattoos confronts Baek Jung-hyuk, addressing him as Bai Xing and demanding, "I've been looking for you. Do you want to hide in the crowd?" The blonde man, identified by Baek Jung-hyuk as Kim Phuket, the lone shark who ruined my family in my previous life, menacingly asks, "You know what happens if you don't pass the exam today?" Baek Jung-hyuk's expression is dejected as he hesitantly replies, I know." Kim Phuket leans in, mocking Baek Jung-hyuk's silence, taunting, "Oi oi oi, why don't you speak? You've no confidence." Kim Phuket loudly draws the attention of the surrounding students, shouting, "Everyone take a look, over here, look who this is." He continues to expose Baek Jung-hyuk's past, declaring, "Bai Xing, you know who that is, right? He's been interviewed on the official program, a genius who was tested at 1,200 power level 3 years ago, the future of humanity." The whispers start the moment he arrives. The students sneer, their voices dripping with disdain as they recognize the face of the fallen genius. Baek Jung-hyuk, that loser? So that's him, one mocks, while another cackles, remembering the boy who became the school's biggest laughingstock. They point and laugh, relishing in his perceived failure. To them, his high energy level was nothing but a wasted miracle. They joke that with power like that, he should have settled for a desk job instead of wasting space on the field. Suddenly, a heavy, tattooed hand slams onto his shoulder. A man in a gaudy tropical shirt leans in with a predatory grin, his eyes cold. "You're the center of attention again," he sneers. "Doesn't that feel motivating?" The lone shark tightens his grip, his voice dropping to a low, menacing hiss. He reminds the boy that only by becoming a sealer can he ever hope to pay back even a fraction of his debt. If he fails, his organs will be sold across the globe, and his bones will be nothing more than chew toys for a puppy. Jung-hyuk remains silent, his head bowed, but beneath the surface, a cold smirk forms. He thinks to himself, "Humph, everything is unfolding exactly as I remember." He reflects on his past life, where this man died in a pollutant incident before Baek Jung-hyuk ever got the chance to settle the score. This time, he won't let such a regrettable thing happen. In a blur of motion, Baek Jung-hyuk's hand shoots out, seizing the lone shark by the collar. The man's eyes bulge in shock, his arrogant composure instantly shattered by the sudden display of aggression. Baek Jung-hyuk pulls him close, his voice laced with lethal mockery. "You're so loud. You must have had a lot for breakfast, didn't you?" He leans in further, adding, "How much does your daughter's puppy have to starve to feed a mouth as big as yours?" The lone shark's face turns a violent shade of red. He screams in fury, "You son of a bitch, what did you say?" His fist trembles, ready to strike down the boy who dared to insult him. Baek Jung-hyuk doesn't flinch. Instead, he spreads his arms wide, inviting the blow. "Come on, hit me, right in the face. Don't hold back," he taunts with a chilling smile. Reminds the man of the stakes. If he gets injured now, he might fail the exam. And if he fails, how will the lone shark explain the lost investment to his boss? The logic is a cold blade against the man's throat. The lone shark hesitates, his fist frozen in midair. Baek Jung-hyuk's eyes burn with a predatory light. "You don't dare?" he whispers. "You're the one who's lost his nerve." With a contemptuous shove, Baek Jung-hyuk releases him. The man stumbles back, his pride wounded and his authority completely undermined in front of the entire student body. The lone shark tries to salvage his dignity, shouting that Baek Jung-hyuk better pass the exam or he'll learn what hell truly feels like. He claims the boy has only been hiding his fear for the past 3 years. Baek Jung-hyuk stops and looks back over his shoulder. He raises his hand, shaping his fingers into a gun and pointing it directly at the man's heart. The lone shark flinches, sensing a strange, invisible pressure. A dark, playful glint enters Baek Jung-hyuk's eyes. "Bang," he whispers with a sinister grin. "You've been marked." He turns and walks away, his silhouette confident against the stadium backdrop. "We'll meet again soon," he calls out, "so don't run away." The surrounding students part like the Red Sea, their faces filled with fear and disgust. "Stay away from him," they whisper. "Don't even look him in the eye." They treat him like a plague, a scourge that shouldn't be allowed near them. Their rejection is absolute, their fear palpable as he passes through their ranks. Baek Jung-hyuk closes his eyes, unfazed by their hostility. "Very good, keep it up," he muses internally. "It's only human nature to fear what you don't understand." The scene shifts back 3 years to the entrance exam at Hwawan City No. 2 Middle School. A massive stadium is filled with hopeful candidates, all waiting for their destiny to be written. A younger, wide-eyed version of the boy stands on stage. His dream was simple and pure, to become a powerful sealer, to defend mankind, and to seal away the pollutants that plagued the world. The world of sealers is governed by 3 strict criteria: ability, level, and combat. At age 16, the awakening process begins, separating the mundane from the extraordinary. Ability is the skill itself, while power level represents raw energy, the mana of this real-life game. Higher levels mean more intensity, greater frequency, and more potential for greatness. Crowd gasped when his numbers appeared. A power level of 1200? They whispered in awe. This child was hailed as a future pillar of the country, a once-in-a-generation genius. The excitement reached a fever pitch when Headmaster Pushkin, an A-class sealer with the power of foresight, was called to the stage to witness the miracle boy. Pushkin placed a weathered hand on the boy's head. "Let me predict the future of this child," he murmured, his voice carrying the weight of destiny. The old man frowned slightly, admitting he couldn't see exactly what ability the boy would awaken yet. The tension in the air was thick enough to cut with a knife. And Pushkin's eyes erupted with celestial light. "I see it," he bellowed. "I can see him shining brightly among the stars." The stadium exploded in cheers. People shouted that a great genius had been born, one who might even surpass the current guardian saint. They demanded the news be reported to the entire country immediately. In that moment, the boy believed his life had changed forever. He imagined his mother holding her head high and his sister finally being able to buy long skirts to hide her scars. Laughed with pure, unadulterated joy. His father wouldn't have to break his back at construction sites anymore. He thought he could finally walk with confidence and talk to girls without shame. News reports flooded the media. Student loans were offered, and major organizations extended olive branches, desperate to recruit the 1,200 power level prodigy. The moment of truth arrived. Bathed in a spotlight of expectation, the boy's power finally awakened. Energy gathered in his palm, glowing with an ethereal light. But the system notification was a death sentence. F-rank, summon light sphere. The genius had awakened the lowest, most useless ability in existence. A fist-sized ball of light. No heat, no special effect, no attack power, just illumination. The boy collapsed to his knees, his world crumbling as he realized he was nothing more than a human light bulb. The goodwill that had suddenly appeared in his life vanished in an instant, replaced by a cold, harsh reality. Adoration turned into a poisonous miasma of mockery. Having awakened a trash power, he felt as though he had lost his very qualifications as a human being in the eyes of society. The world turned on him. The king of lights, they jeered. He became one of the biggest jokes in the history of the sealers. Every company that had bid for him suffered losses, and they made sure he felt their resentment. Tragedy spiraled. All benefits were withdrawn. His mother fell ill from the stress. His father, set up by a man named Kim to sign a predatory loan contract, fled abroad with his sister to hide. Left alone, the boy was forced to take the sealer's entrance exam just to survive. Staring at the paper in his hands, Baek Jung-hyuk feels a chilling sense of déjà vu. Every detail, every face, it's all unfolding exactly as it did in his memories. His gaze drifts across the track, landing on a familiar figure. Even she is here, just like before, a constant in this recurring nightmare. The unnamed purple-haired student grips her weapon tightly, her expression unreadable as the blade catches the morning light. She stands tall, a silent promise of the chaos to come. In his past life, she was the only one left when humanity faced extinction. Suddenly, a booming voice cuts through the tension. The announcement blares across the stadium, demanding the attention of every candidate present. The unnamed purple-haired student looks up, her purple eyes reflecting the vast, open sky as the gravity of the moment sinks in. High above, on the observation deck, the officials look down. The pollutants have been released, and the sealer exam is officially underway. The lead examiner reminds them of the rules. Find the pollutants, seal them, and remember, no external help is permitted. Every move is being monitored. With a sharp, confident smirk, Examiner Sia-ju officially declares the start of the exam, her eyes gleaming with anticipation for the carnage to follow. As she wishes them luck, Baek Jung-hyuk looks on from the crowd, knowing that luck will have very little to do with surviving what's coming. Immediately, the stadium erupts into movement. Candidates scramble in every direction, the air thick with the frantic energy of those desperate to pass. Desperation takes hold as students beg to join teams. One girl pleads with Chun Ziho, boasting about her D-rank, accelerate heal, and power level of 28. Elsewhere, a student shouts for Wang Chun to join them, frantic because their group is missing a vital C-ranked attacker. The field is a marketplace of abilities. One boy offers his skeleton summons to share the battle pressure, hoping anyone will take him in. On the balcony, Examiner Hu Ming notes that the powerful students have already formed alliances. He calls it unfair, but his tone suggests he enjoys the imbalance. Deputy Examiner Li Jinling checks her tablet, stating that loan sealers never last. In this world, the most effective strategy is to group up immediately. Ya-ju scoffs at the idea of fairness. To her, surviving by any means, money, power, or family, is the only fairness that matters. Her smile widens into something predatory. A living sealer is a useful sealer. The dead are just statistics. Jinling reports that 95% of candidates have found teams. The average ability is C rank, with only one A rank in the entire batch. But then, Li Jinling stops. Her eyes widen behind her glasses. Most are below level 100, but one candidate has a power level of 1200. Hu Ming laughs, pointing down at the field. Despite that massive power level, the candidate is an outcast. No team wants him. Down on the grass, the social hierarchy is brutal. Students are being sorted by utility, and those deemed weak are left in the dust. One desperate boy begs to be taken in, his hands clasped in prayer. He's terrified of failing to become a sealer. The response is a violent shove. The other students won't let an E-rank trash drag them down. They tell him to get lost with a sneer. Baek Jung-hyuk approaches the rejected boy with a small smile. Since neither of them has a team, he suggests they form one together. But the boy reacts with pure rage. He blames his inability to level up on Baek Jung-hyuk's presence, mocking him for only being an E-rank. A fist flies through the air, connecting with Baek Jung-hyuk's face with a sickening crack. He doesn't even try to dodge. Force of the blow sends him sprawling onto the grass. The boy screams at him to go home and drink his mother's milk, leaving him in the dirt. Baek Jung-hyuk grunts in pain, blood trickling from his nose. His eyes, however, remain sharp, cold, and calculated. He remembers a time when things were different, when he was part of a group, when he was called Brother Bai and promised a future in the big organizations. Back in the present, the bully brags about his fighting skills to anyone who will listen, while Baek Jung-hyuk wipes the blood from his face. A shadow falls over him. A soft voice tells him to wipe it away. It's the unnamed purple-haired student, extending a handkerchief. She looks down at him with a gaze that is surprisingly gentle, a stark contrast to the hostility of everyone else on the field. She warns him to be safe since he hasn't awakened his powers yet. She doesn't see a threat. She sees someone who needs protection. Jung-hyuk tells her not to worry. She believes the common lie that she is incompetent with zero power. But he knows the truth. As she turns to leave, Baek Jung-hyuk watches her go, a faint smile playing on his lips. Who knows what the future holds indeed? A voice calls out to her, addressing her as Miss Yuashin. A large, muscular student approaches, his presence commanding immediate respect. This is Ma Ho-jong, B rank, level 212 with the Rock Fist ability. He asks for her info so they can officially team up. The unnamed purple-haired student explains that her cousin hired a professional team to ensure she passes the exam. Ma Ho-jong is part of that insurance. She pauses, then looks back at Baek Jung-hyuk. To the surprise of everyone, she asks if he can come along with them. The captain sighs, acknowledging that her request is essentially in order, though he notes the remuneration might be a different story as he agrees to let the newcomer join. Young man looks down, his voice barely a whisper as he questions why she would even bother helping someone like him. He doesn't let it go, trailing behind the swordswoman and demanding an answer, insisting that her reasons are incredibly important. Moments later, the newcomer approaches the captain with a bright smile, handing over his papers and politely asking the captain to take good care of him. The captain is visibly rattled, shouting in confusion about how this stranger could possibly know his full name already. Flashing a confident grin, the newcomer manifests a glowing orb, claiming his power can illuminate the unknown, including the secrets inside the captain's mind. The group stands frozen in shock until the newcomer lets out a mischievous giggle, admitting he was just messing with them for a bit of fun. The tension breaks as the small squad begins their patrol across the wide, open tiles of the school courtyard. The system identifies the team's power levels, highlighting the leader's ability and level followed by the ranks of the supporters. The leader scans the area, his brow furrowed as he expresses hope that they can track down some natural pollutants in the vicinity. Suddenly, one of the supporters tenses up, her plant-based sensory ability picking up a strange vibration coming directly from the flower beds. Another team member doesn't hesitate, her cat-like features sharpening as she prepares to dash forward and clear the path for her team. With a burst of speed, she lunges toward the disturbance, her reflexes honed and ready for whatever is about to emerge. The ground erupts with a violent tremor as massive, thorny vines burst through the dirt, signaling an immediate threat. The scout screams a warning as the massive entities reveal themselves, catching the team off guard with their sudden appearance. A monstrous, predatory plant towers over them, its gaping maw lined with jagged edges as it prepares to strike. More of the creatures emerge from the foliage, surrounding the students from every angle. The system identifies the threat. A group of predatory plants has successfully cornered their prey. The supporter panics, realizing the sheer number of enemies is far beyond what her plant suppression abilities can handle. The leader takes command, barking an order for the scout to use her ability to buy him the precious seconds he needs. With a fierce smirk, the leader slams his hands into the earth, activating his signature skill. Columns of molten fire erupt from the pavement, incinerating the predatory plants in a blinding display of power. The predatory plants shrivel and burn, their biological defenses no match for the intense heat. Panting from the effort, the leader checks on his team, satisfied that the raid was a success and asking if everyone is unharmed. He examines a glowing core, explaining that once planted, it will create an infinite resource of pollutants, allowing them to cultivate even rarer mutations. Clutching the sealed object, his eyes gleam with ambition as he declares these treasures the key to mankind's eternal glory. Meanwhile, back with the main group, the newcomer and the others continue their search through the silent corridors of the school. The atmosphere is heavy with anticipation as they walk past the brick pillars, each student lost in their own thoughts. The swordswoman grips her weapon tightly, warning the group to stay alert since a pollutant could strike at any moment. Newcomer scoffs at the caution, reminding her that with a powerful captain leading them, there's nothing to fear. However, his mood sours as the search drags on, and he bluntly tells the captain that he's starting to lose his patience. The captain tries to explain that these things appear randomly, but the newcomer cuts him off, stating that they simply haven't found the right one yet. The narrative shifts to explain the nature of a separate space formed around a pollutant that is completely sealed off from the rest of the world. The captain turns to the newcomer, asking if he'll finally use his light-based ability to explore the warehouse and end this search once and for all. Seo Hyun looks directly at Baek Jung-hyuk, asking if his light-based ability is ready. Baek Jung-hyuk replies with a sarcastic woo. Overwhelmed with emotion, Baek Jung-hyuk declares he's ready, exclaiming that it's the first time his powers have ever been needed. Ma Ho-jong shouts encouragement, urging Baek Jung-hyuk to proceed, confident they will soon find what they're looking for. A dark resolve settles on Baek Jung-hyuk's face, a low kek escaping his clenched jaw. A powerful stomp echoes as Baek Jung-hyuk plants his foot firmly on the ground, disrupting the air around him. Ma Ho-jong and the unnamed beanie student stare in disbelief, with Ma Ho-jong letting out a surprised "huh." Dark, swirling energy erupts from Baek Jung-hyuk, consuming the ground beneath him as his stunned teammates look on. A terrified scream escapes Seo Hyun as she and the unnamed beanie student recoil in horror from the sudden surge of dark power. The scene shifts dramatically, revealing the vast, empty expanse of a stadium under a clear sky. In a control room filled with monitors, an unnamed woman overseer calmly files her nails, seemingly unconcerned by the beeping sounds from the surrounding screens. The unnamed blonde student reports a critical system failure, stating that surveillance of the student group has been lost and a C-class pollutant was triggered. The unnamed woman overseer dismisses the gravity of the situation with a cold smile, stating that death is merely a common occurrence. Inside the cavernous, web-draped warehouse, Baek Jung-hyuk's hand glows with light, illuminating a massive Crypt demon spider lurking above them as the team cautiously steps forward. Monstrous Crypt demon spider, designated C-124, looms large, its dark form and glowing red markings a terrifying sight. Ma Ho-jong takes charge, instructing everyone to stop and follow his lead as they face the menacing Crypt demon spider. Ma Ho-jong assigns tasks, ordering Wang Qian to maintain sound control to prevent the demon spider from awakening. He then instructs Lu Jinzi to move in and subdue the creature. Wang Qian, a C rank with sound control, has a power level of 79, while Lu Jinzi, a B rank with arachnid bloodline, stands at power level 137. Wang Qian turns to Ma Ho-jong, suggesting they eliminate a potential burden first to simplify their mission. Seo Hyun steps forward, sword in hand, challenging Wang Qian's suggestion and stating that the Ji family's resources do not extend to killing innocent people. Ma Ho-jong silences the discussion, reminding them that Miss Yuexin's request is an absolute order, leaving no room for dissent. Ma Ho-jong points at Baek Jung-hyuk, instructing him to stay back and simply serve as a streetlight with his illumination ability. Lu Jinzi, a chilling smile spreading across his face, suggests hanging the captive from the ceiling for a better vantage point. Ma Ho-jong, Lu Jinzi, and Wang Qian prepare to move, with Lu Jinzi clutching a small object while Ma Ho-jong grunts in agreement. Seo Hyun's expression darkens with unease, sensing that something is fundamentally wrong with the situation. With a swift motion, Baek Jung-hyuk's hand clamps onto the hilt of Seo Hyun's sword. Baek Jung-hyuk, a mischievous smirk on his face, takes Seo Hyun's sword, remarking on its magical nature as she questions his actions. With a confident grin, Baek Jung-hyuk declares himself the protector, claiming that since both are incapable of fighting, he, as a man, will shield Seo Hyun. Seo Hyun blushes, her expression a mix of surprise and fluster at Baek Jung-hyuk's unexpected declaration. Baek Jung-hyuk proudly asserts his sense of justice and responsibility despite his seemingly fragile appearance, and hints at a keen insight. Proving his keen insight, Baek Jung-hyuk plunges the magical sword into the ground, exclaiming that there is indeed something unusual hidden beneath. Ma Ho-jong, Wang Qian, and Lu Jinzi watch in stunned silence as Baek Jung-hyuk's actions reveal an unexpected truth. Baek Jung-hyuk's eyes glow with a menacing red as he grins, calling out second master of the Ji family, Ji Yueguang, thereby revealing a hidden antagonist. Below, Seo Hyun is struck with terror. Both Baek Jung-hyuk and Seo Hyun leap back in shock as the magical sword pulsates with ominous energy, releasing the hidden threat. From the depths of the ground, a shadowy figure coalesces, tearing free from its confinement, its form taking shape around the embedded sword. The shadowy figure fully emerges, revealing himself as Ji Yueguang, who then scoffs at Baek Jung-hyuk, remarking on his surprisingly good eyesight for a loser. Ji Yueguang's purple eyes glow with sinister intent as he extends an offer to Baek Jung-hyuk, inviting him to join his research project. Ji Yueguang, an A rank with the Black Shadow ability and a power level of 817, reveals his true intention to transfer Baek Jung-hyuk's power level to himself, offering payment for the exchange. Seo Hyun cries out in distress, revealing a shocking familial connection as she calls Ji Yuegwang cousin. Baek Jung-hyuk scoffs defiantly, his red eyes burning with fierce resolve at the unfolding treachery. Ji Yuegwang commands Lu Jinzi to force Bai Xing to consume one of the Crypt demon spider's arms, intending to observe the resulting changes in power levels. Ji Yuegwang embraces a terrified Seo Hyun, warning her not to struggle as it would spoil his enjoyment. He then cruelly reveals his plans to strip her father of his family head status and coldly dismisses any grief for her. Ji Yuegwang's face twists into a grotesque, shadowed smile as he sneers, promising his victims a taste of abuse and death. Ji Yuegwang, eyes wide with manic glee, extends his hand, a brilliant light radiating as he proclaims, "It's time to awaken to my true ability." A system notification reveals his unique power, Divine Hand. This ability grants a target a random power at the host's energy level, which can then be withdrawn, inflicting feedback. His current power level is 1200. Unnamed silver-haired student, horrified, shouts that Ji Yuegwang is awakening, while the unnamed beanie student frantically warns they must stop him or be utterly ruined. Ma Ho-jong lunges forward in panic, his face contorted with dread as he emphasizes they must exert every effort or face certain death. A tense silence falls over Ma Ho-jong, the unnamed silver-haired student, and the unnamed beanie student, their expressions etched with grim realization. The tension shatters as Ma Ho-jong, the unnamed silver-haired student, and the unnamed beanie student suddenly burst into mocking laughter, their earlier fear replaced by derision. As Baek Jung-hyuk stands with a glowing orb, Ma Ho-jong points and scoffs, dismissing the idea of a second awakening as impossible, while the unnamed beanie student ridicules Baek Jung-hyuk, questioning why he wouldn't have awakened sooner. Ji Yuegwang's sinister smile remains fixed as he calmly tells someone not to concern themselves with the taunting students. A girl, trapped and enveloped in swirling dark energy, lets out a desperate, pained cry as Baek Jung-hyuk watches, his expression grim. Ji Yuegwang maintains his grip on the struggling girl, dark energy still coiling around them, as he chillingly invites her to have some fun. Tears stream down the girl's face as Ji Yuegwang's hand clamps around her throat, eliciting a strained, choked sound of agony. From the ground, Baek Jung-hyuk, still holding a luminous orb, urgently shouts for the struggling girl to run quickly. Baek Jung-hyuk's eyes ignite with a furious red glow, his face contorted in a mask of intense rage and resolve. Ma Ho-jong, a smug smirk playing on his lips, dismisses Baek Jung-hyuk's plea to run, challenging him to withstand a single punch, promising freedom if he does. Ma Ho-jong's fist rapidly transforms, hardening into a formidable, stone-like gauntlet, crackling with raw purple energy. With his newly empowered, rock-like fist, Ma Ho-jong instructs Wang Qian to accompany him to collect the demon spider, while Ji Yuegwang observes the scene with a chilling cackle. Trapped and weeping, Ji Yuexin's inner thoughts reveal her despair, wishing she had awakened her own power to eliminate her tormentors. Baek Jung-hyuk extends a glowing hand towards the desperate Ji Yuexin, a determined smile on his face, offering her a chance to change your destiny. Her eye glows with a mysterious purple light. Baek Jung-hyuk stands tall, enveloped in a vibrant purple aura, his entire being radiating immense power. His red eyes blaze with unwavering intensity, Baek Jung-hyuk's expression fixed in fierce determination, ready for battle. The air crackles with latent power as Baek Jung-hyuk extends his hand, a radiant glow emanating from his palm, ready to unleash his ability. Baek Jung-hyuk launches a sphere of pure light, sending it directly towards a shocked onlooker who recoils, exclaiming in utter disbelief. The long-haired man, his face contorted in a furious snarl, warns Baek Jung-hyuk that his interruption has ignited his dangerous wrath. With a powerful surge of dark energy, the long-haired man activates Shadow Wall, manifesting a formidable barrier to block the incoming attack. A young girl with long dark hair and striking purple eyes looks up, her expression a mix of surprise and apprehension amidst the chaos. The radiant orb of light from Baek Jung-hyuk gently penetrates the girl's forehead, causing a soft, ethereal glow to emanate from her as she closes her eyes. Now enveloped in a sparkling aura, the girl senses a profound change within herself, while the long-haired man stares in disbelief, recognizing the unmistakable aura of an awakened power. The long-haired man, still reeling, questions what he just witnessed, realizing Baek Jung-hyuk's light orb possesses the power to awaken others, lamenting that his previously loser cousin has now become an awakener. Gaining his composure, the long-haired man praises Baek Jung-hyuk's actions, extending an offer for him to join his ranks and reiterating a previous proposal. Baek Jung-hyuk, his expression calm and resolute, flatly rejects the offer, stating his strong aversion to work. The long-haired man yelps in alarm as the girl beside him suddenly ignites with fierce flames, prompting him to question if she has awakened a powerful fire ability. Ji Yuexin stands, now fully engulfed in an inferno, her newly awakened rank ability, Thermal Mastery, radiating with an impressive power level of 1200. Ji Yuexin gazes at her flaming hand, a look of awe and profound realization dawning on her face as she confirms her own powerful awakening. Baek Jung-hyuk, observing Ji Yuexin's newfound power, instructs her to cease standing idly and take immediate action. Ji Yuexin's eyes blaze with newfound determination and anger, while the long-haired man's face contorts in a mixture of shock and growing fear. The long-haired man commands Ma Ho-jong, who wields a formidable rocky arm, to engage his newly awakened cousin, Ji Yuexin. Ma Ho-jong, with a sinister chuckle and his powerful rocky arm, offers a mocking apology to Miss Yuexin as he prepares to attack. Ji Yuexin, now fully channeling her thermal mastery, unleashes a devastating burst of flames, ready to strike down her opponent. The long-haired man reels in utter shock, witnessing Ma Ho-jong's instant defeat in a single fiery blow, exclaiming his disbelief that even he couldn't fell a B-rank sealer so swiftly. Panicked by the overwhelming power, the long-haired man activates Shadow Dive, plunging into the dark ground to escape the immediate threat. From within the shadows, the long-haired man analyzes Ji Yuexin's power, noting that while Flame is a C-rank ability, she has awakened the advanced A-rank thermal mastery, but quickly identifies its limitations, short range and the need for her body as a heat carrier. The long-haired man emerges from the shadows, confident he is within striking distance, plotting to use his Shadow Dagger to eliminate Ji Yuexin, believing her short-range ability leaves her vulnerable. With a twisted, menacing grin, the long-haired man unleashes shadowy tendrils, declaring his intention to kill his cousin, Ji Yuexin, for the supposed Ji family's bright future. Baek Jung-hyuk, a subtle smirk playing on his lips, directly addresses the long-haired man, questioning his perceived safety and imminent victory. The long-haired man cries out in agony as he is suddenly engulfed in Ji Yuexin's flames, his shadow tendrils dissipating, defiantly vowing to teach his opponent the meaning of being disabled. Ji Yuexin stands triumphant, her flames still active, as the long-haired man's charred and defeated body lies motionless in the background. Ji Yuexin collapses to her knees, tears streaming down her face, her body shimmering with residual energy as the profound emotional toll of the battle sets in. Ji Yuexin looks up, a faint, grateful smile gracing her lips as she offers a heartfelt thank you to Bai. Baek Jung-hyuk kneels beside Ji Yuexin, gently placing a hand on her head, noting the profound impact the recent events have had on her. A system window appears, detailing Baek Jung-hyuk's Divine Hand ability, revealing his power to grant and withdraw abilities, recording them for his personal use, with his current power level at 1209, now including Thermal Mastery A rank. Baek Jung-hyuk explains that by helping Ji Yuexin awaken her Thermal Mastery ability, he not only gained the same power but also received a significant 9 power level feedback from her. As Baek Jung-hyuk processes his newfound power, a colossal, menacing spider-like creature with a small figure on its back looms in the dark, hinting at the next formidable challenge. The figure atop the colossal spider-like creature, now known as Bai Xing, grins maniacally, declaring an opening. He is convinced the fainted Ji Yuexin still lacks combat power and can be killed. The monstrous spider-like creature, with Bai Xing on its back, unleashes furious red energy slashes, threatening the unconscious Ji Yuexin on the ground. Baek Jung-hyuk, protecting the fallen Ji Yuexin, defiantly challenges his opponent, asking, "Who says I don't have combat power?" Bai Xing, riding his monstrous mount, lunges forward, roaring, "If you can hide once, can you hide twice? You'll die today." Kneeling beside Ji Yuexin, Baek Jung-hyuk analyzes the situation, realizing her thermal mastery, which instantly releases heat to form a light cone, likely caused her to faint from losing too much heat. Baek Jung-hyuk's hand delves into a bag, retrieving a water bottle as a new strategy forms in his mind. So, what if it absorbs heat? Rising to his feet, Baek Jung-hyuk grips the water bottle, a confident smirk playing on his lips as swirling water energy surrounds him, ready for the next move. Baek Jung-hyuk activates his new ability, declaring his intent to absorb heat and condense water into ice, as an ice sword at absolute 0, as the bottle transforms. The system reveals Bai Xing, an A rank with thermal mastery and a power level of 1209, as Baek Jung-hyuk stands ready with his newly formed ice sword, Ji Yuexin still incapacitated on the ground. Baek Jung-hyuk stares down his opponent, his ice sword radiating power, a chilling smirk on his face as he challenges, "Tell me, why do I need to hide?" Bai Xing, perched atop his creature, snarls, urging his unseen ally, "Don't be afraid, let's kill him. I know you've got a trick up your sleeve." The unnamed beanie student, with a confident smirk, reassures his ally, boasting, "Don't worry, I've killed a few B-ranks who despised me," then instructs, "Buy me some time." Bai Xing, responding to the request, declares no problem, as the colossal spider-like creature unleashes a barrage of glowing, poisonous spider webs. Baek Jung-hyuk stands firm, his ice sword ready, as he faces the onslaught of the glowing purple spider web, the unconscious Ji Yuexin still at his feet. With a powerful upward swing, Baek Jung-hyuk unleashes a devastating 0-degree slash, sending a massive arc of freezing blue energy and swirling snowflakes. The 0-degree slash connects, instantly freezing and shattering the poisonous spider web into countless icy fragments, clearing the path. Standing victorious amidst the pulverized remnants of the web, Baek Jung-hyuk dismisses the attack, stating, "Spider web? It's just protein, I'll just freeze it to powder." Baek Jung-hyuk's eyes gleam with cold triumph as he taunts his opponents. "Is that all? Where's your arrogance?" With the web neutralized, Baek Jung-hyuk declares, "Next, it's my turn," as he lunges forward, his ice sword poised for a decisive strike. Far from the immediate battle, Seo Ha-yeon intently observes Baek Jung-hyuk's combat data on her tablet, her expression focused and analytical, tracking his every move. As Seo Ha-yeon analyzes, Baek Jung-hyuk unleashes a devastating strike, his ice blade arcing with lethal precision towards the monstrous spider, sending splatters of dark blood into the air. Baek Jung-hyuk plunges a shimmering ice shard directly into the creature's head, aiming for a critical blow as the unnamed silver-haired student struggles atop the beast. The unnamed silver-haired student screams in panic, realizing the dire situation as the spider's head rapidly crystallizes, completely engulfed in Baek Jung-hyuk's freezing power. Baek Jung-hyuk, with a smirk of triumph, mocks his opponent, declaring the now-frozen creature a complete waste of a lovely spider for him to manipulate. The ice weapon shimmers with an ethereal glow, its jagged form crackling as smaller shards break away, a testament to its destructive power. Desperation contorts the unnamed silver-haired student's face as he struggles against the encroaching ice, crying out that Baek Jung-hyuk cannot kill him. The unnamed silver-haired student desperately reveals his deep connection to the demon spider, warning Baek Jung-hyuk that if he dies, the pollute domain will break. Baek Jung-hyuk pauses, considering the unnamed silver-haired student's words, a contemplative expression on his face as he acknowledges the potential consequence. Spotting a fleeting chance, the unnamed silver-haired student seizes the opportunity, initiating a desperate maneuver to release his control over the demon spider. The unnamed silver-haired student explains his arachnid bloodline strategy, hoping that by losing control, the demon spiders will unlock the pollute domain and flee, giving them a chance to escape. Meanwhile, the unnamed beanie student, headphones firmly in place, charges a glowing orb of sound energy, his thoughts consumed by a murderous intent to eliminate Baek Jung-hyuk. Baek Jung-hyuk dismisses the immediate threat from the spider, deciding it's troublesome and can be dealt with at a later time, his focus elsewhere. The unnamed beanie student unleashes the Sonic Slam Cannon, a devastating sonic blast that he proudly proclaims is an attack from which humans are not immune. Baek Jung-hyuk is struck by the powerful sonic blast, his body contorting from the impact, a clear sign of the damage taken. The unnamed beanie student exults in his attack's success, declaring that it worked perfectly, as all humans share the same fundamental weakness. The unnamed silver-haired student urges his companion not to give Baek Jung-hyuk a chance, declaring his intent to finish him off with his sword. Monstrous spider, its fangs bared and multiple eyes glowing ominously, lunges forward, still a formidable and immediate threat despite its frozen state. Baek Jung-hyuk, recovering quickly, commands his ice sword to transform into a shield, swiftly raising it to block the incoming attack from the demon spider. With incredible agility, Baek Jung-hyuk evades the spider's strike, ice shards scattering around him as he moves with a blur of speed. The unnamed silver-haired student commands pursuit, urging his ally not to let Baek Jung-hyuk escape, while the unnamed beanie student confidently states there's nowhere to go, planning to make Baek Jung-hyuk completely deaf with another sonic blast. Baek Jung-hyuk, holding a glowing orb, responds to an implied threat with a chilling smirk, asserting that his actions are not a threat, but rather for his opponent's own benefits. Standing over the defeated shadowy figure, Baek Jung-hyuk declares a power transfer, stating that he grants himself 1,200 power levels from the fallen foe. Baek Jung-hyuk issues a decisive command to retrieve the absorbed power as the shadowy figure below disintegrates into nothingness. With a confident grin, Baek Jung-hyuk announces his acquisition of the rock ability and 212 power points, sarcastically thanking his vanquished opponent for the donations. His power level now stands at 1421, 1209 plus 212, with Rebirth, Thermal Mastery A rank, and Rock Fist B rank as recorded abilities. Activating his newly acquired power, Baek Jung-hyuk summons a colossal giant rock fist from the ground, aiming it directly at the formidable spider. With a furious roar, Baek Jung-hyuk commands the spider to get the fuck out of his sight as the massive rock fist slams into the creature with devastating force. Baek Jung-hyuk shatters the colossal rock fist, revealing his enhanced arm, a confident smirk playing on his lips as he displays his overwhelming power. Baek Jung-hyuk eyes his next target, another shadowy figure on the ground, identifying him as a heavyweight and expressing his clear intent to acquire his abilities. Baek Jung-hyuk proceeds to absorb the energy from the second shadowy figure, his glowing orb drawing in the power of his defeated foe. With newfound power, Baek Jung-hyuk's power level surges to 2,238, 1421 plus 817. He now possesses Rebirth, Thermal Mastery A rank, Rock Fist B rank, and a newly acquired Black Shadow A rank ability, with another slot still unknown. The unnamed silver-haired student curses, realizing Baek Jung-hyuk has vanished, leaving only a dark, residual shadow in his wake. The unnamed beanie student frantically urges action, explaining that Baek Jung-hyuk utilized the captain's ability, transforming into a shadow, revealing his power to copy. As the unnamed beanie student cries out in confusion, Baek Jung-hyuk declares he will eliminate the demon and unlock the pollute domain. Simultaneously, a system notification reveals Baek Jung-hyuk's core abilities. Divine Hand with a power level of 1421, boasting Rebirth, Thermal Mastery A rank, Rock Fist B rank, Black Shadow A rank, and Sound Control C rank, with one slot still unknown. The unnamed silver-haired student screams, overwhelmed by the swirling dark energy, as Baek Jung-hyuk coldly observes that it would be impossible for him to stand against his power. With a chilling grin, Baek Jung-hyuk proposes one final, terrifying experiment. He then promises the terrified, unnamed silver-haired student that if he succeeds, he will unleash a plague upon humanity, but if he fails, Baek Jung-hyuk himself will drag him to hell. Baek Jung-hyuk unleashes a colossal, monstrous arm of dark rock and crackling purple energy, declaring it his special attack to eradicate Pushkin. The colossal arm morphs into a devastating cannon, which Baek Jung-hyuk names the Hellcrusher Gold Cannon, crackling with immense destructive power. With a deranged, triumphant grin, Baek Jung-hyuk's red eyes burn as he commands the Hellcrusher Gold Cannon to fire. The Hellcrusher Gold Cannon unleashes a cataclysmic explosion of golden energy, engulfing the unnamed reptilian creature in a searing inferno as it screams in agony. Baek Jung-hyuk lies amidst the destruction, a satisfied smirk on his face, observing the colossal golden blast and confirming the attack's success. The aftermath reveals a modern building now encased by strange, jagged dark rock formations, signifying the successful sealing of the pollute domain. Baek Jung-hyuk kneels beside the unconscious Ji Yueshin, a calm smile on his face, confirming that the pollutant has been successfully sealed. Baek Jung-hyuk holds a small, black spider, stating that all internal traces are clean, indicating their mission is complete. Seo Ha-yun's green eyes widen in surprise as she lets out a confused, "Huh." Baek Jung-hyuk turns to face a group of new arrivals, questioning the examiner about her unexpected presence. The examiner, with a serious expression, directly asks about the whereabouts of Ji Yu-gwang. Baek Jung-hyuk's eyes narrow in confusion, letting out a questioning "huh" as a promotional message for the series appears. Baek Jung-hyuk reiterates his question to the examiner, demanding to know her purpose for being there. The examiner, maintaining her stern demeanor, presses again for information on Ji Yu-gwang's location. Baek Jung-hyuk's red eyes sharpen, a realization dawning on him as he internally deduces that those who accurately know of Ji Yu-gwang must be colluding. Baek Jung-hyuk gazes at the unconscious Ji Yueshin, a somber thought crossing his mind about her unprepared and unjust death in her previous life. As the examiner walks away, Baek Jung-hyuk, still beside Ji Yueshin, ponders internally if Ji Yu-gwang is her cousin, noting the similar name. Baek Jung-hyuk realizes the head examiner knows too much about the polluted domain's mechanics, specifically how inanimate matter vanishes once a boss is sealed. He wonders if she was part of the plan all along, and if they really thought he'd fall for it. Suddenly, a man in a suit shouts in alarm, "Miss Yueshin, what happened to her?" He and several other suited figures rush toward the unconscious woman, their faces pale with panic. Ji Renha, the Ji family's field butler, barks orders at his subordinates. "Get the young miss to the hospital immediately." A faint purple energy still swirls around her chest, indicating her critical condition. Ong Sai pulls out his phone. "I'll call the driver. We need to leave now." Lu Fengye kneels beside the unconscious Ji Yueshin. "We should change the young Mrs. clothes before we move her." Baek Jung-hyuk tries to sound reassuring. "Don't worry, she's just exhausted." Ji Renha looms over Baek Jung-hyuk, his face contorted in rage. "You, give me an explanation, now." The examiner points a finger at Baek Jung-hyuk. "Arrest him, Ji Renha. I have plenty of questions for him myself." Baek Jung-hyuk gasps as Ji Renha's subordinates quickly move to surround and apprehend him. Lu Fengye removes her sunglasses, her eyes glowing with an intense light. "Don't bother running. My vision is already locked onto you." The examiner sighs. "This exam is just like the others, nothing but trouble. Let's finish this quickly so I can finally take my vacation." Baek Jung-hyuk feigns a nervous smile. "Your power is actually quite terrifying. Could you perhaps retract your abilities first?" Ji Renha narrows his eyes, assessing the situation. Taking on both of them is too risky since their abilities are still unknown, especially those two. Ji Renha's skin turns a scaly green-gray as he clenches a massive fist. The young Mrs. Life is everything. If you put her in danger, I will tear you into 10,000 pieces. Baek Jung-hyuk's eyes narrow as he calculates. Both Ji Renha and the examiner are at least B-class with power levels over 2,000. Even borrowing Ji Yueguang's shadow ability wouldn't guarantee an escape without exposing his true strength. The examiner asserts her authority. As the head examiner, I have the right to execute anyone who threatens humanity. Tell me the truth, and I might let you live. Baek Jung-hyuk remains casual. Thanks for the warm welcome. How about we address things one by one? Baek Jung-hyuk holds out his exam file and the seals for himself and Ji Yueshin. Can we focus on us passing the exam first? Examiner's hand, wreathed in dark purple energy, reaches out. The moment she touches the file, it disintegrates into dust. Baek Jung-hyuk cries out in shock. Baek Jung-hyuk wonders if her power is pure decomposition. The examiner warns him, no more tricks. I have enough power in a single fingernail to make you disappear. If you don't confess now, you'll never get another chance. Ji Renha asks about Ji Yueshin's fate. The examiner assures him she'll receive the highest score just for surviving that polluted domain. Now, don't interfere with my interrogation. Ji Renha clenches his fist. He doesn't understand the relationship between this woman and young Master Yueguang, but for now, they have a temporary truce. Ji Renha looks down at Baek Jung-hyuk. You missed your first chance. Now, let's see if you can take a punch from me before I bother listening to your defense. Baek Jung-hyuk looks on in feigned terror. Ji Renha is a strength-type shifter, likely a reptilian or dinosaurian form. The threat of being torn apart isn't just a boast. As Ji Renha prepares to strike, Baek Jung-hyuk screams, "Wait, I'll talk. Young Master Ji Yueguang told me to keep it a secret. He's after a treasure hidden inside the school." The examiner narrows her eyes. I don't sense Ji Yueguang anywhere. Stop lying or I'll start by destroying your right hand. As the purple energy closes in, Baek Jung-hyuk frantically shouts, the treasure belongs to Headmaster Pushkin. Young Master Yueguang sensed another polluted domain nearby. Examiner's eyes widen in shock. Headmaster Pushkin? A suit specialist addresses her. Sister Xia, Principal Pushkin is the director of the National Superpower Research Institute. We can't afford to offend him. A blonde student checks her tablet. The principal is currently away giving a lecture in a neighboring city. The examiner's mind races. Could the conquest of one domain have triggered another? Is Pushkin really hiding a polluted domain inside the school? Is that the treasure Yueguang is after? She realizes Ji Yueguang spared Baek Jung-hyuk and the Ji girl because they were still useful, leaving them in her custody to keep the secret from leaking. The examiner chastises herself. Her own intervention led the Ji family here and exposed the secret publicly. She missed the chance to handle this discreetly. The examiner points at Baek Jung-hyuk. Lead us to Ji Yueguang. Now, the suit specialist echoes the command. Baek Jung-hyuk scoffs internally, planning to kill them all once they meet up. Ji Yueshin is placed in a shimmering energy field to prepare her for transport. Wang Sai reports, Miss Yueshin is stable but unconscious. We'll use the floating ship to get her to the hospital immediately. Ji Renha instructs Lu Fengye, come with me. Take that brat back to the Ji estate and lock him up until the young miss wakes up. Bound by purple tendrils, Baek Jung-hyuk watches Ji Yueshin be carried away. He thinks to himself that these people have no idea how much danger they're in. Baek Jung-hyuk's eyes glow with a menacing red light. He grins sinfully. If you're gonna push me to the edge, then we'll all go over the brink together. An aerial view of the school courtyard shows the groups dispersing, oblivious to the chaos Baek Jung-hyuk is about to unleash. Among the crowd, a student points in surprise, recognizing the man being restrained as Bai Xing, the so-called king of the lamp factory. The unnamed suit specialist drags the captive forward with purple tendrils as onlookers whisper that Bai Xing likely offended the head examiner and got exactly what he deserved. The insults continue to fly, with others laughing that the incapable Bai Xing was probably caught cheating or kicked out for being utterly useless. Watching the scene unfold, Baek Jung-hyuk suggests they head toward the headmaster's office, noting that young Master Yueguang was seen moving in that direction. Suddenly, a surge of dark energy pulses beneath Baek Jung-hyuk's feet as he commands his shadow to manifest. The shadow detaches from the ground, snaking across the floor with predatory speed toward the building's interior. The dark trail leads directly to the heavy wooden doors marked as the headmaster's office. The woman gasps in shock, demanding to know why Yueguang's shadow is standing in the middle of the room in such a strange form. Baek Jung-hyuk smirks, thinking back to his past life and how memorable this specific location truly is. Shadowy figure reaches into a desk drawer, pulling out a heavy golden bull statue with a dark, shimmering aura. With a violent flick of its wrist, the shadow hurls the golden artifact directly at the intruders. The woman catches the heavy statue, her eyes widening as she realizes the sheer weight and power behind the throw. Baek Jung-hyuk's face twists into a manic grin as he activates his ultimate ability, S-Class Pollute Domain, Open. A massive pillar of crimson light erupts from the school grounds, signaling the start of a catastrophic event. In a lecture, it is explained that the ability and level of a boss determine the very rules of the domain they create. Beyond C-rank, these domains become lethal, causing victims to be poisoned or trapped in dreams they can never wake from. Lecturer is revealed as Pushkin, an A-rank ability user with the power to foresee the future, warning his students that defeating the boss is the only way to lift the domain. Pushkin writes the final, most crucial rule on the board: you must know the domain rules to have any hope of survival. The lecture at Baekjeong City Joint University concludes, leaving the students with a grim understanding of the dangers that Baek Jung-hyuk is now unleashing. Lecture at Baekjeong City Joint University concludes, leaving the students with a grim understanding of the dangers that Baek Jung-hyuk is now unleashing. A student, reeling from the revelations, questions if the headmaster's case refers to the recent A-rank pollute domain incidents, his face etched with disbelief. The gravity of the situation sinks in. A purple-haired student exclaims, wondering how such high-level A-rank records could be made public, while another student beside her questions if the situation has truly deteriorated this badly. Amidst the confusion, an unnamed male student, scratching his head, admits his lack of understanding and asks for a clearer explanation of the complex ranking system. A male student, having heard from a contact in a relevant department, clarifies that pollutant levels are determined by casualty data, not raw power. He explains that a pollutant incident with a casualty rate of 90% or more among sealers of the same level is classified as A-class. Narrator explains that pollutants capable of being sealed yield immense profits, leading to the sealing of all files above a rank. The S-class seal, however, is a national strategic resource, too critical for public knowledge. The unnamed male student continues, theorizing that the headmaster's decision to share A-class pollutant information either means the threat is contained or a higher, uncontrollable level of danger has spread. He presses his peer, asking for their opinion. With a sharp clap, a pair of hands commands silence, cutting through the murmuring students and re-establishing order in the lecture hall. Headmaster Pushkin turns to address the room, acknowledging that some already understand the escalating crisis. He declares that pollutants are appearing with increasing frequency, and as the future of humanity, the students must be fully informed. Headmaster Pushkin elaborates on the terrifying statistics. A-class pollutants boast over an 80% casualty rate within their domains. He reveals that above S-class, more than 90% generate a pollute domain, ominously pausing before stating the S-class casualty rate. Panic erupts among the students. One shouts in fear, asking if they are doomed to die if they encounter such threats. Another demands an explanation, questioning if the previous S-class incident was truly resolved, while a third student cries out for divine intervention. The unnamed purple-haired student stands, addressing Headmaster Pushkin directly. She implores the world's strongest prophet to reveal humanity's fate, asking if they are destined to perish. Headmaster Pushkin, unfazed by the rising tension, acknowledges her question, maintaining a calm demeanor before the anxious crowd. With a solemn expression, Headmaster Pushkin delivers his chilling prophecy. In just 3 months, the fate of humanity will reach a pivotal turning point. The scene shifts to an aerial view of the Baekjeong City Joint University campus, now bathed in an ethereal, ominous pink glow, hinting at the subtle, pervasive influence of a pollute domain. Sinister smirk spreads across Baek Jung-hyuk's face as he muses, expressing a nostalgic longing for the S-class pollute domain, a chilling sign of his true intentions. Chaos erupts as office workers are ensnared by grotesque purple tendrils, caught within a rapidly expanding pollute domain. Panic fills the air as one exclaims, realizing they've been trapped, while another recalls the ominous golden ox statue that preceded the event. An unnamed female office worker, her face contorted in fear, desperately calls out to Yu Guang, demanding answers about the unfolding catastrophe as she stares at a shadowy figure. The shadowy figure dissipates, revealing a bound man, causing the unnamed female office worker to gasp in shock and confusion, her eyes wide with disbelief. Her shock intensifies as she sees Baek Jung-hyuk bound by the same purple tendrils, realizing the true identity of the figure and the sinister implications of his presence. A look of fury crosses the unnamed female office worker's face as she vehemently denies it's Ji Yu Guang. She identifies the bound man as that brat Baek Jung-hyuk, recognizing his malevolent presence. Baek Jung-hyuk, a dark grin spreading across his face, activates his shadow dive ability, preparing to vanish into the darkness. As the unnamed female office worker shouts to stop him, Baek Jung-hyuk descends into the encroaching shadow, letting out a mocking kakik as he evades the grasping tendrils. Ming, the unnamed suit specialist, declares his intent to stop Baek Jung-hyuk, activating his deep sea captivity ability and unleashing a torrent of powerful purple tendrils. Baek Jung-hyuk, caught off guard, exclaims, "Whoa!" as Ming's tendrils rapidly envelop him, attempting to drag him down into the shadows. Hu Ming, a B-rank sealer with power level 798 and the Deep Sea Touch ability, boasts that even an A-class sealer cannot escape once imprisoned by his tentacles, confident in his capture. Baek Jung-hyuk, refusing to be captured, activates Shadowing, melting further into the ground's darkness to evade Hu Ming's grasp. Hu Ming, with a menacing grin, confidently declares that Baek Jung-hyuk's aura is locked by his tentacles, rendering escape impossible. Baek Jung-hyuk challenges Hu Ming, asking if his tentacles can still lock him if he blends completely into the building's shadow, pushing the limits of his evasion. New threat emerges as Li Jinling, the unnamed blonde student, glows with a radiant light, asserting her presence and challenging Baek Jung-hyuk's shadowy escape. Li Jinling, a B-rank sealer with power level 932 and the electric pixie ability, stands ready, surrounded by crackling electric energy, her presence illuminating the darkened room. Li Jinling unleashes high-frequency laser flash, a blinding burst of light. She explains that even if it doesn't directly hit Baek Jung-hyuk, the high-frequency light will dispel all shadows, cutting off his escape route. Hu Ming, seeing Baek Jung-hyuk's shadow form cornered by the light and his tendrils, taunts him with a kakik, urging him to keep running. Baek Jung-hyuk, trapped in his shadow form, internally questions how a mere tentacle can touch his shadowed body and how an aura lock can be so invulnerable, realizing the unexpected strength of his opponents. Suddenly, a high-heeled foot stomps down, pinning Baek Jung-hyuk's shadow form to the ground with a sharp, impactful sound. Unnamed female office worker stands over Baek Jung-hyuk's shadow, her hand glowing with purple energy. She demands to know why he possesses Yu Guang's powers, giving him only one chance to answer. With her foot still pressing down, the unnamed female office worker poses a chilling rhetorical question to Baek Jung-hyuk: what is the sharpest sound? Her eyes blazing with fury, the unnamed female office worker unleashes a powerful purple energy blast, shouting "Go to hell, annihilate" at Baek Jung-hyuk's trapped shadow. A cataclysmic clash of purple and red energy erupts, tearing through the room with devastating force as the unnamed female office worker's attack detonates. The immense energy blast rips through Baek Jung-hyuk's shadow form, while Hu Ming and Li Jinling are caught in the devastating shockwave, the entire environment shattering around them. Hu Ming clutches his ears in agony, screaming in pain from the overwhelming sonic force of the attack, while Li Jinling also recoils, both struggling against the unexpected power unleashed. Amidst the chaos, a distressed woman screams, her face contorted in agony and smeared with blood, demanding to know where her target vanished. She insists he couldn't have gone far after being struck by her devastating annihilate attack, urging her subordinates to pursue him relentlessly. The woman collapses to the floor, recoiling as a massive, shadowy limb looms over her. A menacing voice warns her to save her own life, emphasizing the gravity of her situation. Monstrous unnamed reptilian creature, its immense form towering, assesses the environment, declaring that the pollute domain they are in is at least A-class. It then announces its intention to move towards the young Mrs. side. The unnamed reptilian creature's massive, clawed hand swings menacingly past the cowering woman, the sheer force creating a visible impact wave. Two unnamed reptilian creatures, one gargantuan and another smaller but equally agile, leap with incredible speed through the building's interior, their movements blurring with destructive intent. The blood-spattered woman, her brow furrowed in deep thought, ponders what the lizard might have discovered since it fell silent. She internally reveals that the G family's unique research on pollutants is why someone tasked her to help Ji Yu Guang annex the G family. Now standing, the woman urgently instructs her companions to follow the target closely and find a way to escape this pollute domain, her hand gesturing decisively. Outside, the school grounds are bathed in an unnatural, blinding light as students look up, questioning the strange weather and expressing a shared bad feeling about the unfolding situation. A group of students reacts to the bizarre phenomenon. One dismissively suggests it's just another round of the sealer exam, while another, more panicked, recognizes it as a pollute domain, demanding to know where the teachers are amidst the school's contamination. On a distant rooftop, Baek Jung-hyuk stands, his arm brutally severed, a grim realization dawning on him that even after rebirth, he still suffered this grievous loss. Baek Jung-hyuk, his expression a mix of despair and furious resolve, clutches his chest, refusing to believe this is the power of fate. He vows to win this time, his determination burning fiercely despite his missing arm. His eyes blazing with cold fury, Baek Jung-hyuk stares intensely, making a chilling vow to Pushkin that he will never succeed in 3 months, declaring his intent to take everything from him first. As the red, oppressive sky looms over the school, students look up in confusion, one cat-eared girl voicing the collective bewilderment, wondering what is happening. Panic erupts among the students as one frantically shouts that the entire school is covered, making escape impossible, while another student reacts with a stunned "what" to the dire news. A calculating blonde student observes the chaos, musing if this is part of the exam. He coldly decides that he can use the other students to figure out the rules, prioritizing his own survival. The blonde student confidently spreads his arms, declaring his intent to live regardless of others' fates, and calls for everyone to gather and listen to him. The sly smile, the blonde student claims to possess inside information, asserting that this situation is merely another part of their exam. He suggests the examiner is watching and urges everyone to cooperate for a better grade. Rallying the crowd, the blonde student boasts about his A+ grade in tactical planning despite his overall C grade, confidently stating his ability to lead and take them out of this predicament. Cat-eared student, smiling, endorses the blonde student, urging others to listen to Captain Chen Ziho, who, she claims, easily led them through the seal. A student named Zhang Mao expresses frustration, lamenting that someone else has gotten ahead of him. He reflects on the significant advantages of becoming a captain, including a higher chance of survival and better grades, while his own B rank ability remains a mystery. Chang Yin, a muscular student, approaches, introducing himself and stating his desire to follow the perceived leader. He boldly requests a demonstration of their abilities, while an internal cynical thought dismisses the notion of easy leadership. Unnamed blonde student unleashes a devastating attack, activating his lava earth ability, causing a massive fiery explosion that rips through the ground. With a menacing smile, the unnamed blonde student reveals the formidable yet limited nature of his lava earth ability, capable of immense destruction but with a cooldown. He then provocatively challenges his audience, asking, "How is it?" Suddenly, a crimson force erupts, violently consuming the unnamed blonde student and splattering blood across the scene, leaving onlookers stunned as he is brutally thrown back. Zhang Mao gasps in horror, realizing the unnamed blonde student is dead. A chilling internal thought confirms the worst. A must-kill rule has been triggered, signifying a worst-case scenario. Zhang Yin frantically questions the deadly rule that claimed the blonde student, pondering if it was tied to ability activation, terrain destruction, or a stance change, but laments the severe lack of information. The unnamed cat-eared student, kneeling in a pool of blood, cries out in terror, calling desperately for her captain. Behind the terrified, unnamed cat-eared student, a monstrous, horned silhouette wreathed in crimson energy materializes, its presence radiating pure menace. Crimson energy spreads like a plague, splattering students, including Zhang Mao, with blood, as sheer terror grips their faces. The crimson shadow energy lashes out, brutally tearing two students apart in a grotesque spray of blood, sending the remaining survivors scrambling in panic. Baek Jung-hyuk, with a grim and resolute expression, reflects on the brutal truth of their existence. Death is an inevitable fate, merely a matter of time. A terrifying vision unfolds. In 3 months, Pushkin will unleash the colossal demon bull, decimating Hwaun City until only a handful of survivors remain after a mere day and a half. Narrator describes the apocalyptic aftermath of the final blow, which transformed Hwaun City into a desolate, scorched crater utterly devoid of life. Baek Jung-hyuk, his arm brutally severed, questions the very purpose of survival and struggle in the face of such overwhelming destruction. A ruthless student brutally kicks a cowering peer, issuing a chilling ultimatum: obey or face immediate death, as the victim cries out in pain. 2 male students restrain a terrified female, their faces twisted in depraved glee, declaring that since death is inevitable, they might as well have some fun, as the girl cries out in distress. On the blood-soaked ground, 3 students kneel in utter despair, questioning the horrors unfolding around them and pleading for divine intervention. A system notification details the S-rank pollutant known as the Golden Bull Rush, a creature named by Pushkin. Its activation triggers a deadly rule. Any minor color change incurs its wrath, leading to instant death. Confrontation, evasion, or inaction all result in death. Directly triggering its core rule ensures an inescapable demise. Baek Jung-hyuk ponders the insidious nature of the color change rule, realizing that to the entity, all forms of life and environment are indistinguishable. He understands that escalating anger from the entity expands the polluted area and tightens the deadly rules. Baek Jung-hyuk activates his power, focusing with intense determination as he unleashes thermal mastery control, energy crackling around his outstretched hand. Baek Jung-hyuk demonstrates his thermal mastery control, instantly heating the air beneath his feet to harness the power of air expansion, allowing him to levitate. Baek Jung-hyuk, deep in thought, acknowledges the extreme danger of the color change rule, realizing his shadowing ability would be useless against the demon bull, instantly crushing him into mist. As afternoon wanes, Baek Jung-hyuk observes the ominous red-tinged campus, realizing that the shifting sunlight and drastic changes in brightness, particularly at dawn and dusk, can trigger deadly attacks from the golden bull. Baek Jung-hyuk clutches his arm, his face etched with worry, refusing to dwell on past horrors and instead praying for a cloudless sky to avoid further environmental triggers. With a new resolve, Baek Jung-hyuk dashes up the stairs, his mangled arm a testament to his past struggles, determined to find and rescue Gu Xian. The crimson sky casts an eerie glow over the deserted school sports field and stadium, a silent testament to the unfolding apocalypse. A swift female figure, Fengyi, sprints across the desolate landscape, closely followed by a powerful unnamed reptilian creature, both moving with urgent intent. Fengyi adjusts her sunglasses, her expression questioning their current course, asking why they aren't pursuing that kid and instead seem to be abandoning their mission. The unnamed reptilian creature reminds Fengyi of their primary duty. As direct descendants of the head and Miss Yu Exion's butlers, her safety is paramount. He further instructs her to monitor young Master Yu Guang and avoid being manipulated, especially by the abnormal head examiner. Fengyi pushes up her sunglasses with a resolute expression, affirming young Master Yu Guang's assessment that the family head is perfectly capable of managing affairs without relying on good-for-nothings. Fengyi's smirk widens, her eyes hidden behind dark sunglasses as she ruthlessly declares the futility of intelligence against her resolve. She intends to eliminate her opponent to clear the path for young Master Yu Guang. The unnamed reptilian creature, leaning against the side of a dark van, anxiously questions the well-being of the young miss. Wang Sai, a blond man in a suit and sunglasses, his expression grim, informs the unnamed reptilian creature that the young miss remains unconscious, awaiting further medical assessment. Wang Sai's face shows a flicker of concern, contrasting sharply with Fengyi's resolute gaze as she issues a crisp command. Get ready. A chilling revelation displays a bomb meticulously placed beneath the car, its destructive potential enough to claim 2 lives. Wang Sai, his back to the viewer, activates a light-based ability. He explains that by pinching the energy light switch and placing another light ball near the bomb, the resulting impact will trigger detonation. Wang Sai, consumed by ambition, internally boasts of his long-standing loyalty to young Master Yu Guang and his rise from E rank to C rank, using his strength as proof of his worth. He envisions further advancement once young Master Yu Guang assumes leadership of the family. With a cruel smirk, Wang Sai apologizes to the young miss for his actions, confessing his overwhelming desire for a better life before mentally commanding the bomb to explode. Just as Wang Sai prepares to unleash his attack, Fengyi's hand flashes out, intercepting and gripping his glowing fist, preventing the detonation with a sharp pip sound. Fengyi maintains her firm grip on Wang Sai, her gaze shifting towards the van as she realizes they are being pursued. Wait, they're following, she warns. As Fengyi and Wang Sai confront the newcomers, the unnamed suit specialist, tendrils subtly extending from his hands, demands to speak with their boss. Fengyi, assessing the situation, asserts that the pollute domain is too complex, urging cooperation. Xiaju, the woman in the white top, deep in contemplation, laments the absence of Yu Guang, who could have easily commanded the situation. She acknowledges that Ji's daughter is still alive, then internally debates the consequences of eliminating her, losing her teammates and being trapped in the pollute domain. Xiaju's expression tightens with fear as a shadowy figure looms in her thoughts. She realizes that interfering with the Ji family's affairs or disrupting that person's plans could lead to her direct annihilation. Xiaju acknowledges the unnamed reptilian creature, who then firmly rejects her proposition for cooperation, stating his primary concern is ensuring the young miss's safety first. Xiaju confidently asserts that the unnamed reptilian creature has approached the right person. She claims to possess a method to protect the young miss within this pollute domain, but only if she herself survives. The unnamed reptilian creature's eyes narrow with a mix of anger and disbelief, retorting that Xiaju is too blind to comprehend the true power of the pollute domain, implying it's not something to be trifled with. Xiaju, her hand subtly displaying a ring, reveals that the power of annihilation she wields originated from a higher-up. She then unveils her true A-rank ability, Spatial Backpack, with a power level of 2436. The unnamed suit specialist exclaims in surprise, recognizing Spatial Backpack as a rare ability that allows one to avoid all dangers by hiding within it. A seated male, addressing her as Examiner Xia, questions why she's revealing this now and urges them to enter quickly. The unnamed reptilian creature's expression shifts to understanding as he acknowledges Xiaju's ability. He then proposes a joint effort. Xiaju can provide shelter for the young miss, and together they can orchestrate their escape. The scientist questions why a member of the Ji family, renowned experts in pollutant research, would flee from a high-level entity instead of sealing it. Reptilian creature admits his growing dread, explaining that the more he understands pollutants, the more they terrify him. He warns that surviving within a pollute domain requires more than just knowing the rules. With a grim gesture, the reptilian creature declares that pollutants are infinite and humanity is powerless against them. He asserts that only a pollutant can truly combat another pollutant. Dismissing his philosophy, the scientist points out the Spatial Backpack's 2 cubic meter limit. With her already occupying space, there is only room for 3 others. Failing to breach the domain ensures the death or injury of half their group. The reptilian creature agrees to the terms, stipulating that the young miss must be prioritized and secured first once the crisis begins. The scientist outlines her strategy: gather the surviving students to extract vital information from them. The reptilian creature counters, calling her plan flawed. He argues that more people increase the risk of triggering unknown rules and suggests abandoning the living to seek information from the dead instead. The reptilian creature instructs Feng Yi to use his vision ability to examine the traces of death for insights. Driven by a will to survive, Feng Yi activates his ability. Vision. Go. A system prompt explains that vision marks all visible humans, allowing him to track any target, living or dead. Watching the plan unfold, the scientist mutters to herself that a truly wise individual never places their hopes solely on others. The scientist issues orders. The blonde student is to compile information on A-rank candidates, while the specialist in the suit uses his tentacles to retrieve the targets from their photos. Both acknowledge the task immediately. With a chilling smile, the scientist remarks that relying on the dead is too slow. She coldly decides to let the living perish for her cause, mockingly promising to improve their CVs as compensation. The blonde student reports the first target, an A-rank candidate named Yin Xiao Xiao. Baek Jung-hyuk scoffs at their plan to use students as pawns to test the domain's rules. A system notification confirms his sound control ability is now active, amplifying his hearing. Baek Jung-hyuk focuses on his true objective, acquiring GUXIN. He notes the reptilian creature's loyalty but laments the chaotic situation. Suddenly, Baek Jung-hyuk's eyes snap open. "Who's there?" he demands, sensing an unexpected presence. A terrified student, Yin Xiao Xiao, pleads for her life. "Don't kill me. I'm useful." Baek Jung-hyuk towers over her and demands she prove her worth in a single sentence. Yin Xiao Xiao reveals she is an A-rank candidate and warns that the specialist's tentacles will reach them in 17 seconds. She offers herself as bait so he can retrieve his abilities. Baek Jung-hyuk, intrigued by her rank and potential for prediction or perception, asks what her ability is. Panicked, Yin Xiao Xiao screams, "1 second, it's here." Massive tentacles surge in. Baek Jung-hyuk grabs Yin Xiao Xiao and pulls her close as the appendages envelop them. A triumphant grin spreads across Baek Jung-hyuk's face as he vows his enemies will regret underestimating him. "Bestow!" Baek Jung-hyuk shouts, channeling a surge of light energy into Yin Xiao Xiao. The tentacles ensnare Yin Xiao Xiao's legs, tightening their grip as she is pulled further into their grasp. A system notification reveals Yin Xiao Xiao is an A rank with the Mind Probe ability, her power level now boosted from 296 to 796. Simultaneously, the specialist's profile appears, B rank with the Deep Sea Touch ability. His power level is 798 with an additional 1000 boost. Retrieve, Baek Jung-hyuk commands, initiating the ability transfer. The specialist collapses as his power is drained. A system notification confirms his Deep Sea Touch ability has been taken, and his power level is now 0. As the tentacles retract, Yin Xiao Xiao stands with her power level returning to 296, while Baek Jung-hyuk stands beside her. A powerful stomp crushes a tentacle as the countdown reaches -1 second. With a grin, Baek Jung-hyuk declares he has shadowed the unconscious man. Change color. Dark mass erupts from the specialist's body, transforming into a shadowy figure as the blonde student gasps in shock. The reptilian creature snarls, roaring back off as his instincts warn of impending danger. The shadow figure strikes with devastating force. A system timer flashes -2 seconds as the impact ripples outward. The scientist stares in horror as blood splatters behind her during the brutal assault. Scientist collapses as crackling energy emanates around her from the force of the attack. As the countdown hits -3 seconds, Baek Jung-hyuk unleashes the Hellcrusher Gold Cannon, causing a colossal rock formation to erupt from the ground. The Hellcrusher Gold Cannon unleashes a blinding blast of golden energy. The timer shows -5 seconds as the destructive force surges forward. Feng Yi screams in terror as he desperately tries to escape the massive explosion detonating behind him. The area is consumed by swirling debris and residual energy, leaving behind a scene of absolute chaos. As the dust settles from the impact, the man turns with a smug, casual grin, looking toward the woman. The system interface flickers into view, revealing high stats and a terrifying arsenal of powerful abilities. This is the true power of an invincible force that defies the very logic of this world. The gap between a regular student and a monster like him is an absolute abyss. Watching from the ground, the woman is completely overwhelmed as she realizes just how monstrously strong he truly is. She can't help but marvel at his tactical genius, stunned by the speed of his counterattack. Analyzing the battlefield, she realizes his reaction speed and battle sense are ruthless, having used the environment and the enemy's momentum for a decisive victory. His abilities allow him to manipulate the rules of the domain, and for the first time, she feels a glimmer of hope for her own survival. He glances back with cold, mocking eyes, making it clear that her life is far from guaranteed. Panic sets in as the woman realizes her own abilities have been stripped away and her life is now in his hands. With a casual gesture, he confirms her fears, showing that he knows exactly what she is capable of. She lets out a terrified scream, but he immediately shuts her down, gesturing for her to remain silent. His presence is lethal as he makes it clear that her survival is strictly due to her potential usefulness. He indicates that he needs someone for silent communication and considers her qualified for the task. A deal is established. She must cooperate with him to find others and help harvest their abilities to survive. He reaches out, touching her forehead to bestow a new ability and a significant power boost to suppress anyone who gets in their way. Her stats surge as her power level increases. He doesn't waste a second, indicating that they need to move immediately. His gaze sharpens as he warns any nearby enemies within the domain. He senses their presence and warns against any attempt to escape. Relieved and desperate to survive, the woman eagerly accepts her role in his plan. She sprints off, her heart pounding with fear and the hope that she might be able to save her classmates as well. With the plan and strategies shared instantly, her ability to gather power for him is now her primary focus. Seo Ha-yun, her eyes alight with discovery, reveals she's been tirelessly probing for life within the Pollute domain since its opening, utterly surprised by what she's encountered. Seo Ha-yun's thoughts echo, convinced Baek Jung-hyuk is destined for greatness, affirming her choice to align with him. Baek Jung-hyuk, meanwhile, offers a confident humph in response. The unnamed reptilian creature's massive, clawed hand clamps down on the car's frame, effortlessly deforming the metal with raw, overwhelming power. The unnamed reptilian creature barks for a situation report. The unnamed suit specialist, struggling on the ground, confirms, dead, all dead, Lu Feng Yishi. To his surprise, the unnamed reptilian creature's keen senses detect movement. Yo, they're all still alive, he declares, his reptilian eyes narrowing. Baek Jung-hyuk, observing the scene, remarks that the head examiner appears intent on remaining hidden within their space backpack. The unnamed reptilian creature turns to the unnamed suit specialist, commanding, Wang Sai, take care of young miss in the car. Baek Jung-hyuk plants his hand on the scorched earth, a warning escaping his lips. Don't act rashly, he cautions, preparing for what's to come. Baek Jung-hyuk reveals his strategy. I can instantly trigger a rule attack. It will be even more powerful than the two just now. Just bake the ground until it changes color. A system notification flashes, sound control in effect. A voice transmission cuts through the air, revealing a concise summary. Long story short, Ji-yu Guang wants to kill Ji-yu Xin and take the position of the family head. The examiner and the two people beside you are his people. There's a bomb planted under the car. It's obvious. The unnamed reptilian creature reacts with a sharp voice transmission. Enraged, the unnamed reptilian creature roars, how dare you threaten me with young Mrs. Life? He scoffs, humph. Whether it's true or not, the Ji family is in an internal fight and the weak are only looking for death. Jung-hyuk, seemingly unconcerned by the rising tension, declares, you want to test me? Coincidentally, I also want to try out my new ability, as purple energy begins to swirl around his arm. From Baek Jung-hyuk's arm, thick purple tentacles burst forth, coiling and extending with incredible speed. In response, the unnamed reptilian creature's formidable claws flex, ready to intercept. The unnamed reptilian creature launches a powerful leap towards Baek Jung-hyuk, who fluidly evades the assault as his purple tentacles lash out, ready to engage. The unnamed reptilian creature closes in, delivering a heavy blow, but Baek Jung-hyuk's newly manifested purple tentacles rise to meet the attack, forming a dynamic defense. Jung-hyuk grimaces, his internal monologue revealing the struggle. What strength? Close combat is his forte. Even with 1,000 power levels, it's still not strong enough to crush this dinosaur. The unnamed reptilian creature's reptilian eyes gleam with challenge as he taunts Baek Jung-hyuk. Is that all you got? Baek Jung-hyuk's mind races, analyzing his options. Shadowing and thermal mastery easily trigger the rules, and the other abilities are support type. The only solution is to quickly bestow and retrieve the power to transform, but that would also trigger the rules. Suddenly, the unnamed suit specialist snaps to attention, a look of realization crossing his face as he exclaims, got it! Baek Jung-hyuk, his frustration boiling over, yells at the unnamed suit specialist, his tentacles still writhing. Wang Sai, what are you waiting for? Brother Yu Guang wants to take care of Ji-yu Xin. Hurry up, I can't stand it anymore. The unnamed reptilian creature's eyes widen, a clear exclamation mark indicating his surprise at the sudden outburst or unfolding events. The unnamed suit specialist flinches in shock, then quickly responds with a resolute, okay, acknowledging the urgent command. Light emanates from the unnamed suit specialist's hand as he declares with renewed conviction, I knew Brother Yu Guang didn't give up on me. The unnamed reptilian creature unleashes a devastating attack, sending a figure flying through the air with brutal force. The unnamed reptilian creature's colossal fist connects with the unnamed suit specialist, launching him backward with a resounding impact. The unnamed suit specialist recoils from the creature's blow, blood spurting from his mouth as the unnamed reptilian creature presses its advantage. With blood staining his lips, the unnamed suit specialist's eyes burn with defiance. "I'm unwilling," he cries, his body glowing with unstable energy. "Explode. Let's die together." The unnamed suit specialist, enveloped in blinding energy, lunges to embrace the unnamed reptilian creature in a desperate, self-destructive attack. In the background, Baek Jung-hyuk observes, his purple tentacles still extended. The unnamed reptilian creature violently flings the unnamed suit specialist away, his body already drained. A system notification confirms, C-rank Wang Sai ability, energy light power level 0. The unnamed suit specialist detonates in a gruesome explosion of light and blood, his desperate gamble ending in a tragic, fiery demise as the unnamed reptilian creature watches, unfazed. The unnamed reptilian creature gazes at its hand, a hint of annoyance in its voice. "You made me kill him, there were other ways," it mutters, seemingly unappreciative of the forced action. Baek Jung-hyuk smirks, golden energy swirling around him. "So what? I don't care if you all live or die. If you can keep Gu-Xian safe, you're worth something," he declares coldly. Baek Jung-hyuk, his tentacles still active, issues a chilling challenge to the unnamed reptilian creature. "I'm going to give you a test, too. Listen to these words." Jung-hyuk, a sly grin on his face, calls out, "Head examiner, are you still not coming out? It's safe now. As long as you're not wearing blood-stained clothes, you'll be fine." As the purple tentacles ensnare the woman on the ground, a voice echoes with a chillingly sarcastic tone. "Ji-yu Guang is dead. Don't follow him in his evil deeds. From now on, we should take care of plants and trees to protect the environment." Baek Jung-hyuk activates deep sea suppression with a sinister smirk. The woman screams, realizing, "Kaya, I can't activate my abilities." Baek Jung-hyuk's tentacles violently slam the struggling woman to the ground, immobilizing her with decisive force. Baek Jung-hyuk's smirk widens as he declares, "Yours? It's mine now." A system window materializes, displaying his divine hand with an incredible power level of 4,236, now listing an array of recorded abilities, including energy light, confirming his absorption. The tension rises as Chun Ziho, brimming with false confidence, brandishes a banknote he claims is a rare sealed artifact. A system window identifies it, codename Polluted Banknote C135, a protective talisman that forms a shield against contamination for 30 minutes. With a shout of "banknote protection," Chun Ziho presses the glowing banknote to his forehead. A surge of green energy radiates from the talisman, enveloping him in a defensive aura. The activated talisman manifests fully, encasing Chun Ziho in a vibrant, protective green shell. His classmates watch with a mix of awe and apprehension as the shield shimmers around him. Chun Ziho's eyes widen with triumphant joy. He exclaims, "It works! I can actually walk out." His confidence soars, unaware of the deadly rules he is about to trigger. His newfound hope is brutally shattered. A monstrous, shadowy red energy lashes out, violently striking Chun Ziho and sending him flying. A crimson spray erupts as he is instantly killed. The ground is stained with fresh blood, a grim testament to the brutal enforcement of the hidden rules. The silence that follows is thick with horror. Ma Hojong, his face etched with shock, acknowledges the grim reality. He used a valuable seal meant to protect his life during the exam, but he still triggered the rules. A student with a bowl cut and freckles recounts the previous failures. Chun Ziho's, summon lava, Peng Cheng's, water link, turning the ground into a lake. It means that environmental modification is prohibited. The student continues detailing the fatal mistakes. Chun Ziho's teammates died because touching blood is prohibited. Wang Tao used a mobile phone. Use of electronics is prohibited. Lin Guahao used bird transformation. Wan Lei attempted invisibility. They all died. Ma Hojong adds a crucial detail. At the beginning, Lin Guahao's transformation was safe. It was Chun Ziho who was the first to actually trigger the rules. Overwhelmed, the freckled student clutches his head in despair as a storm of prohibited rules swirls around him. He screams, "Are the rules getting stricter? What do these deaths have in common?" Ma Hojong grabs the frantic student, shouting, "Attention, everyone! If you want to live, keep quiet, don't try to change anything, and don't even use your abilities." His voice cuts through the rising panic. Ma Hojong's expression hardens as he reveals a chilling hypothesis. "I have a theory. The rules might become stricter based on the number of times they are triggered." The freckled student screams in terror, noticing the shadowy bull monster growing larger in the background. The bull monster is growing. It's feeding on our lives and our fears. At this rate, even breathing will trigger an instant death rule. Ma Hojong throws his hands up in exasperation. "What a joke!" he shouts. "The more we try to find a way out, the more we block our own path." The freckled student collapses, screaming in despair. Who created these impossible rules? Why do there have to be rules at all? We're doomed. Who's going to save us? Ma Hozhong clutches his head, his mind reeling. Rules. The speed of light is 300,000 kilometers per second. People die. There are 60 seconds in a minute, he rambles. Who knows who made these rules? Suddenly, Ma Hozhong's desperation turns to grim resolve. He grabs the freckled student, declaring, I don't care. I have to survive. As the two strongest B ranks here, we have to find a way to crack these rules. With newfound determination, Ma Hozhong reveals his deduction. The specific rule is color change. The freckled student, startled, can only gasp, who said that? New figure emerges. Yin Xiaoxiao, the strongest and only A-rank mind reader among the students. She confidently declares, only I can save you now, before snapping at an interruption. Shut up and stop wasting my time with your nonsense. Yin Xiaoxiao adjusts her glasses, detailing her formidable abilities. I can probe minds, read thoughts, and uncover the secrets of the heart. I possess a powerful sixth sense that detects any mental fluctuations hostile to me. Standing confidently, Yin Xiaoxiao reveals her discovery. During the panic, I sensed a lethal killing intent. I used my wide-range mind probe and found something very interesting. Ma Hozhong attempts to interject, I want to know, but Yin Xiaoxiao cuts him off sharply. Shut up and listen to me, she asserts, commanding total authority. Yin Xiaoxiao reveals the shocking truth. Bai Xing is a regressor, aware of future events, and actively plotting humanity's destruction. The unnamed beanie student reacts with utter disbelief, questioning how Bai Xing could betray his own kind. Yin Xiaoxiao silences them with a fierce warning, asserting that she wouldn't bother with stinky men if the situation weren't so dire. She passionately declares that Bai Xing rejects his humanity, aiming to destroy the world, and someone must rise to stop him. Activating a mind transmission ability, Yin Xiaoxiao shares the recent encounter, showing the students the true power of their adversary. The students grasp the gravity of the situation, realizing their enemy is a formidable mind reader who leaves them with no secrets. Yin Xiaoxiao explains that a sealer's true strength isn't just in raw power, but in deeply understanding and utilizing each ability, criticizing those who merely devour them. She reveals her own mind reader ability, which allows her to see everything about Bai Xing, while her disguise remains impenetrable to him. She then instructs them on using mind probe to create a mental barrier protecting their thoughts. Yin Xiaoxiao continues, detailing how to use energy channel to project fire energy and commends Cheng Yin's intelligence for his effective use of compress to enhance physical fitness. The unnamed beanie student and Ma Hozhong exchange concerned glances, realizing their secrets have been exposed to this mind reader. Yin Xiaoxiao elaborates on Cheng Yin's quick thinking, explaining how he innovatively applied compression after learning the color change rule. She illustrates the advanced technique, compressing air into two spherical enclosures, evacuating the middle to create a vacuum soundproof layer and achieving sound control. With a confident smile, Yin Xiaoxiao declares she has chosen the right partners and invites them to join her in saving humanity. Ma Hozhong vehemently opposes the idea of treating students as mere resources, asserting that such an evil act would never be tolerated. Ma Hozhong rallies the students, emphasizing the need to unite and devise an undetectable plan to defeat Bai Xing. Yin Xiaoxiao, however, reveals her true manipulative nature, gloating about the ease of controlling students and her plan to steal future opportunities from Bai Xing's memory by feigning trust. Her internal thoughts are a chaotic mix of obsession for Bai Xing, viewing other students as his food, and gushing over his handsomeness. Baek Jung-hyuk internally reflects on his previous battle, noting that he had the upper hand and planned a fierce attack once the head examiner appeared, also observing her knowledge of the space backpack's invincibility. He muses on his initial assumption that all three examiners were combat inexperienced, relying solely on their abilities. Baek Jung-hyuk issues commands to the unnamed reptilian creature, instructing him to protect Guxin and eliminate the remaining examiner to pass the test. System notification flashes, displaying Energy Light C rank as a brilliant energy beam shoots forth. Baek Jung-hyuk charges forward, an energy blade extending from his hand, ready for combat. The unnamed reptilian creature internally speculates on Baek Jung-hyuk's power, wondering about his evil devouring power and his connection to the young Mississippi. The unnamed reptilian creature dismisses the idea of gossiping about the Miss, boldly declaring the test arrogant and vowing to reveal the true strength of the Ji family. The unnamed reptilian creature recalls crucial information: Ji Guang's intent to kill Guxin, the location of a bomb, and the safety of the head examiner if she avoids blood-stained clothes. He concludes that Ji Guang is dead and, surprisingly, urges environmental protection. He further remembers being asked to look after the young Miss, acknowledging a chance to take her away. The unnamed reptilian creature activates a powerful purple energy, radiating a formidable aura. Guxin, the young Miss, glows with intense purple energy, her eyes burning with resolve. Yu Xian expresses frustration, lamenting that she wanted a beach vacation after the exam but forgot to bring spare clothes, uttering a frustrated "damn it." She confronts the unnamed reptilian creature, questioning why she couldn't stay hidden and proposing they work together to catch the scourge, causing S-level incidents. Yu Xian's true thoughts are revealed. Her priority is to win over the G family and hand over that kid and the girl to that person to avoid danger. The unnamed reptilian creature agrees with Yu Xian, suggesting she be placed in his space backpack to lower their guard and facilitate cooperation. Yu Xian offers a proposition, inviting the unnamed reptilian creature to work for her in the future under any conditions he desires, acknowledging his intelligence. The unnamed reptilian creature confidently accepts, declaring that a solution to the exam has now emerged. A wave of relief washes over the students as they realize Bai Xing has uncovered the rules, praising him as a genius despite earlier doubts. Ma Hozhong directs the students to focus, explaining that Bai Xing will lure the pollutant boss, and they must attack with all their might, with others expressing their readiness. Ma Hozhong and the unnamed beanie student communicate telepathically, confirming their readiness to attack the pollutant and their plan to claim it's trapped inside Bai Xing, confident that even a mind reader won't detect their deception. They reflect on the students' hidden potential, acknowledging their destructive abilities, and dismiss Chun Ziho, who died first, as a clown in comparison. Xiao Xiao secretly praises the students' clever plan to bypass the mind probe, considering them good henchmen for her schemes. Xiao Xiao confronts Bai Xing, asserting that Principal Pushkin deems him a pollutant to be sealed for humanity's benefit, then reveals her true intent to imprison him and make him her slave before he grows stronger. The chilling revelation of Xiao Xiao's true intent hangs heavy as a desperate cry echoes through a sterile, brightly lit chamber. Baek Jung Hyuk, subjected to a horrifying procedure, pleads with his tormentor, Headmaster Pushkin, begging for release and offering anything in return. Strapped down and stripped bare, Baek Jung Hyuk's internal monologue reveals a brutal past. He recounts being sold by the wealthy elite, then purchased by Headmaster Pushkin, who claimed to have discovered his talent. A grim realization dawns. The man he thought would save him only bought him for a different kind of torment. Headmaster Pushkin, a figure of chilling calm, looks down upon the restrained Baek Jung Hyuk. His voice, devoid of true empathy, offers a hollow apology, stating that this agonizing process is for the best. A pair of gloved hands expertly selects a surgical scalpel, blade number 20, described with clinical precision as good for cutting through skin. The instrument gleams ominously, foreshadowing the pain to come. Xiao Xiao, the nurse with a sinister smile and glowing eyes, offers a chilling reassurance to Baek Jung Hyuk. She tells him, "Don't be afraid, it'll be over soon," her words a cruel mockery of comfort. The scalpel descends, piercing skin as blood blooms across Baek Jung Hyuk's body. His agonizing scream fills the room, a testament to the brutal pain. He recounts fainting, only to awaken and find himself still alive, still trapped. Tray of blood-stained surgical blades, numbered 4, 10, 20, and 36, lies discarded, each one a grim marker of the extensive and horrific procedure performed on Baek Jung Hyuk. Headmaster Pushkin, his hands covered in blood, carefully extracts an organ from Baek Jung Hyuk and passes it to Xiao Xiao. He instructs her to seal the internal organs separately, treating them as mere specimens. One of Baek Jung Hyuk's vital organs, his heart, now floats eerily in a sealed container, removed from his body, a stark symbol of his dismemberment. Baek Jung Hyuk stares blankly, his chest a gaping, bloody void. He recounts the horror of watching helplessly as Headmaster Pushkin systematically took everything from him: his heart, liver, lungs, gallbladder, limbs, and even his skin. Headmaster Pushkin meticulously examines Baek Jung Hyuk's right hand, explaining that it is the only part remaining. He reveals his plan to seal the other parts to prevent the power of the right hand from transferring after death. Xiao Xiao confirms her role, agreeing to hold on to him. Her words take on a chilling significance as she declares Baek Jung Hyuk's divine hand as the most precious power, capable of ending the age of pollutants. With his task seemingly complete, Headmaster Pushkin turns and exits the chamber, leaving Baek Jung Hyuk to the mercy of Xiao Xiao. Broken and desperate, Baek Jung Hyuk looks up at Xiao Xiao, his voice a raw plea for an end to his suffering. He simply utters, "Kill me." Xiao Xiao's face twists into a cruel smirk. She agrees to his request, but with a condition. "Sure, but you've to promise me one thing." Her eyes gleam with malicious intent. Leaning closer, Xiao Xiao emphasizes the immense value of Baek Jung Hyuk's power, telling him he doesn't comprehend its true potential. She reveals that his light sphere can bestow divine power upon others. Baek Jung Hyuk's eyes widen in shock as he processes her words. He realizes that Headmaster Pushkin had foreseen his awakenings and manipulated his destiny to control his abilities. In Xiao elaborates, calling Headmaster Pushkin the smartest human in the world, capable of calculating everything. Yet, she reveals his one limitation. He couldn't predict if rebirth could be enhanced by the light sphere into eternal life. Horrifying understanding dawns on Baek Jung-hyuk. He connects the dots, realizing his past obedience, even participating in the pollutant incident, was all a desperate attempt to limit his own awakening, fueled by fear of his captors. With a chilling, predatory smile, In Xiao makes her final demand. Since Baek Jung-hyuk is destined to die, she insists he hand over the light sphere, promising him a good time in return, her words laced with dark menace. Under In Xiao's chilling demand, Baek Jung-hyuk, his face contorted in terror and pain, concedes, offering the light sphere. With a predatory grip, In Xiao's bloodied hand reaches out, drawing the ethereal light sphere towards her, its glow intensifying. A sinister smile spreads across In Xiao's face as she welcomes the light sphere, proclaiming her intent to absorb its power forever. Suddenly, Baek Jung-hyuk's eyes widen in shock and pain. A system notification flashes, revealing a new ability, Divine Hand, capable of granting and withdrawing random abilities. His crimson eyes, filled with anguish and confusion, burn with a desperate question, demanding to know the reason behind his torment. Baek Jung-hyuk's face contorts in raw fury, his voice laced with venom as he rails against being treated as a helpless victim, a mere piglet to be slaughtered. With a guttural scream, Baek Jung-hyuk unleashes his newfound power, forcibly retrieving the light sphere from In Xiao. In Xiao recoils in pain and shock as the light sphere is violently ripped away, arcing through the air towards Baek Jung-hyuk's outstretched hand. Baek Jung-hyuk clenches his fist, the recovered light sphere pulsating with energy within his grasp, his expression grimly determined. Suddenly, a powerful, bearded man in green robes bursts through the door, his hand glowing with impact energy, forcefully entering the scene. Baek Jung-hyuk screams in agony, questioning Pushkin about his impending death. Below, his hand seizes a scalpel, a desperate plan forming. In a shocking act of self-mutilation, Baek Jung-hyuk plunges the scalpel into his own eye, a desperate gamble amidst the blood and chaos. The scene shifts to Seo Ha-yeon, her face etched with panic, as she frantically calls out for Bai Xing in a distorted, reddish landscape. Bai Xing, with a knowing smirk, responds to Seo Ha-yeon's unspoken thoughts, questioning if she holds any further secrets. Seo Ha-yeon looks up at Bai Xing, who stands atop a distant building, gently urging him to join them, expressing the student's gratitude. Bai Xing, unfazed, suggests communicating via mind probe due to his shyness, then provocatively asks Seo Ha-yeon's opinion on pollutant people. Seo Ha-yeon appears confused, questioning the term pollutant for a person, then recalls theories linking human power to such pollutants. Bai Xing elaborates on the concept of pollutants, detailing enhanced human abilities like incredible jumps, rapid healing, and resilience to extreme heat, before asserting that the human heart is even more deeply polluted. He continues his scathing critique, citing societal ills from human trafficking to arbitrary wars, and highlights how the sealer exam itself devalues human life, treating it as cheap as grass. Seo Ha-yeon attempts to dismiss his words with a forced smile, suggesting his grand ideas are merely adolescent dreams of changing the world. Bai Xing's face hardens as he challenges her notion of normal, revealing his awareness of their plot against him, leaving Seo Ha-yeon shocked that her mental barrier failed. Xing explains his inherent distrust of humanity and his meticulous caution, which allowed him to see through their deception. Perched on a ledge, Bai Xing accuses them of lacking empathy, having witnessed his memories without pity, further solidifying his belief that they are pollutants. Seo Ha-yeon, now enraged, declares that pity is irrelevant. Humanity requires ultimate power and sacrifice to end the age of pollutants, deeming all losses worthwhile. Bai Xing dismisses her talk of sacrifice as an understatement for someone lacking A-rank talent, then chillingly suggests she sacrifice her own abilities and power to him. Seo Ha-yeon's face contorts in fury and disgust, denouncing Bai Xing as insane, a true demon. Seo Ha-yeon points decisively, rallying the students to attack Bai Xing, revealing that he has sealed a boss within his body, and killing him is their only path to salvation. The students react with a mix of shock and resolve, some questioning the boss revelation, others determined to attack and escape, even with unconventional weapons. Chong-in instructs the gathered students to concentrate their energy on him, revealing his energy channel ability that allows him to collect and focus their power for a long-range attack. Chong-yin's face hardens with resolve, confident that with their combined power, his compression ability can deliver a decisive, one-strike blow to Bai Xing. Seo Ha-yeon's expression shifts to a menacing smirk as she taunts Bai Xing, challenging him to slaughter hundreds of students, hinting at unseen consequences. Chang Yin's power surges, his hands glowing with intense purple energy as he feels his power level soaring, absorbing the collective strength of the students. Bai Xing remains calm, observing the students' coordinated power-up with an unreadable expression, seemingly unconcerned by their rising strength. Still composed, Bai Xing raises a single finger, a silent gesture hinting at his imminent countermove or a grand reveal. Zhang Yin and the other students look up in horror as a shadowy figure, outlined by light, materializes in the sky, a sudden and terrifying development. Xiao Haiyun, her face aghast, quickly deduces Bai Xing's strategy, using an electric pixie to illuminate a shadow clone in the sky, triggering a devastating rule. Bai Xing, with a chilling smile, confirms Xiao Haiyun's analysis, revealing his sound control, volume amplification ability, adding another layer to his insidious plan. He explains the terrifying consequence. When an object loses its light, it loses its color, triggering a rule that will engulf the students in darkness and despair. Zhang Yin's face contorts in panic as he realizes the imminent danger, desperately urging his allies to prevent Bai Xing from completing his devastating scheme. Zhang Yin's face contorts in panic as he realizes the imminent danger, desperately urging his allies to prevent Bai Xing from completing his devastating scheme. Yet, a chilling system alert flashes. Compression can only target entities. His shadows are not affected. Bai Xing, with sinister tentacles writhing from his arm, asserts his power, declaring, "You want to harm me? I'm just trying to protect myself." His voice turns cold as he promises, "I promise you'll die when you attack me." Terrified unnamed student points a trembling finger, screaming, "Bai Xing, I know you can read minds." He then desperately pleads, "It was Yin Xiao Zhao's idea. Bai Xing, don't kill me." Bai Xing's voice rings out, offering a cruel bargain. "Fine, I won't kill you if you give up your ability," he states, as ethereal energy lines begin to drain from the petrified students. Bai Xing stands, a malevolent smile gracing his lips, as a system notification reveals his formidable B-rank energy channel ability, capable of building, concentrating, splitting, and exporting energy in any form. With arms outstretched, Bai Xing activates his power, unleashing a torrent of energy with a single, potent command, "Bestow!" Glowing orbs of light erupt around him, signifying the transfer of power. The students recoil in agony as the energy streams flow into Bai Xing, confirming his success. Retrieve them all. Their abilities are now his. Xing looks down at the weakened students with contempt. He scoffs, "I thought highly of you, but you all have low-rank abilities." A chilling question follows. Did the high-rank one die early? Zhang Yin clutches his chest, gasping in pain amidst the fallen students, each marked with power level 1. He cries out, "He's taken all our abilities and power levels. I've never felt so weak. I can't breathe." Xiao Haiyun lies on the ground, her face contorted in a mix of fury and despair. She curses Bai Xing as a demon and defiantly warns, "The headmaster won't let you go." Xing turns his back on the defeated students, delivering a final, chilling decree. "If you attack me, you'll have to pay the price," he states, explaining that leaving them at 1 power level is a punishment, ensuring they witness the demon bull descending from the sky when day and night alternate, with no escape. A close-up reveals Bai Xing's sinister grin, his red eyes gleaming with wicked anticipation. He reveals his ultimate objective. "After the night, I will have the chance to seal the golden bull." The scene shifts, showcasing the imposing architecture of a modern school building under a clear blue sky, a stark contrast to the chaos that just unfolded within its grounds. Inside a well-appointed office, Headmaster Pushkin, a man with a long white beard, stands with Su-yi, a purple-haired woman in glasses, and Lin Qi, a blonde woman with pigtails, hinting at an important discussion. Headmaster Pushkin declares with urgency, "Something bad has happened at the school. Let's hurry back." Su-yi, ever practical, questions him, "Headmaster Pushkin, if you're in a hurry, you can rent a private plane. Why are you driving?" Headmaster Pushkin chuckles, explaining his preference. "Ho ho ho, old people tend to be more traditional." He then adds cryptically, "And there's an old man in the sky who doesn't like me." Headmaster Pushkin instructs Su-yi to stay behind, stating, "Su-yi, you stay here. I'll go back with Lin Qi." Su-yi responds with surprise, Okay, so sudden. I understand." Headmaster Pushkin confides in Lin Qi, acknowledging her crucial role. "Lin Qi, I can't handle those seals without you." Lin Qi, confident and poised, assures him, "The bull's seal was lifted, and my powers have been restored. It'll be easy to seal it again." She then adds a condition with a sly smile, "But won't work for nothing. Pick one of my collections." Lin Qi confidently strides towards the door, proclaiming, "Let's go." Headmaster Pushkin follows, leaving a surprised Su-yi behind in the office. Su-yi reacts with a stunned ellipsis as the camera shifts to Lin Qi, whose eyes glow with power. A system panel reveals her S-rank status, her golden blood ability, and an astonishing power level, 27,431. A promotional image for Rise of the Beast God appears, momentarily interrupting the narrative flow. More promotional content fills the screen, showcasing various other manhwa titles. A final promotional message encourages readers to visit dragontia.ink for the full chapter and to support faster releases. Back in the unfolding drama, a person, likely Xiao Haiyun, lies unconscious on a stretcher, being transported, signaling the grim aftermath of Bai Xing's attack. An unnamed reptilian creature carries the stretcher, while an unnamed woman with glowing blue energy around her commands, "Hurry up, after putting her in, we have to work together to catch that kid." Unnamed reptilian creature moves with the stretcher towards a swirling purple and blue energy portal, indicating a rapid transport or a gateway to another location. The unnamed woman's face contorts with fierce urgency as she barks out a sharp command, "Hurry up!" The unnamed reptilian creature's reptilian eyes narrow, acknowledging the urgency of the situation as he prepares to act. The unnamed reptilian creature bounds forward, leaving deep claw marks on the ground, a blur of speed as he rushes towards his objective, the portal still shimmering in the background. The unnamed woman holds a glowing orb in her clenched fist, a look of surprise crossing her face as she mutters, "Teske, how did you find out?" Addressing the unnamed reptilian creature, the unnamed woman asks, "After you put young miss in, you're going in too, don't you?" Her tone is a clear directive. As the unnamed woman walks away, she explains her knowledge to the unnamed reptilian creature. "I heard what he said before he left." She then reveals crucial rules, stating, "Both physical changes and environmental changes will trigger the rules," adding, "Considering Hu Ming's death, it's probably true." The unnamed woman's face twists into a sinister smile as she reveals her cunning. "He tipped you off, so I went ahead," she states, then asserts her dominance with a chilling declaration. "With the power of annihilation under my fingernails, you must obey me." The unnamed reptilian creature observes the unnamed woman, stating his own deduction. "From my observation, your nails will also change color after using that ability, and you will also face danger." The unnamed woman retorts defiantly, "Is doing nothing dangerous?" Her smile widens as she delivers a chilling warning. "It's enough to kill you all the moment the rules were triggered." The unnamed reptilian creature holds up his massive hands, declaring, "Wait, I'll do it." He then proposes, "I understand, so let young miss enter your space backpack and I'll leave in peace." The unnamed reptilian creature gestures, asserting that she's a harmless, ordinary doctor with no powers. He then instructs, "You open the space door to the farthest place and let her put young miss in." The unnamed woman considers the terms, then with a decisive expression, she retorts, "Humph, deal." With swift motion, the unnamed woman activates her power, conjuring a swirling portal of dark energy and shimmering light. The unnamed reptilian creature's eyes narrow in calculation. He observes it takes her 3 seconds to open the space backpack by hand. Taking my cue, she discreetly opens the door at 2 meters, although the doctor cannot threaten her. He continues, however, it will take her 1 second to hide in the space backpack. A dangerous glint appears in the unnamed reptilian creature's eyes as he concludes, "It's a gamble." The doctor carefully pushes the gurney forward, unaware of the predatory gaze of the unnamed reptilian creature looming directly behind her. With a sudden, brutal sweep of its powerful tail, the unnamed reptilian creature strikes, sending the doctor sprawling to the ground with a terrified cry of "Kaya." The unnamed woman's eyes widen in alarm, a silent "huh" escaping her as the unnamed reptilian creature internally notes her attention is diverted. The unnamed reptilian creature's clawed hand lunges forward, a guttural command echoing, "Now!" With immense force, the unnamed reptilian creature hurls the gurney and its occupant through the air, while the unnamed woman tumbles to the ground below. Enraged, the unnamed woman glares at the unnamed reptilian creature, screaming, "You're seeking death." She then presents him with a chilling ultimatum. Choose. Option 1, destroy the car. Option 2, reopen the portal on your side. Or Option 3, jump through the open portal. The unnamed reptilian creature considers Option 3 wisest option, but he then unleashes a deafening T-Rex roar. The unnamed reptilian creature's massive jaws descend with terrifying speed, targeting the cowering doctor on the ground. From within the shimmering portal, the unnamed woman watches in horror as the car, still carrying its occupant, is hurled directly towards her. The thrown car detonates in a colossal explosion of fire and debris, engulfing the area in a blinding inferno as the unnamed reptilian creature watches the spectacle. Activating his formidable T-Rex force field, the unnamed reptilian creature generates a shimmering green barrier, perfectly shielding him from the devastating blast. Powerful force field pushes back the encroaching flames, demonstrating its impenetrable defense against the fiery onslaught. Renha, now revealed to be a B rank with a T-Rex bloodline ability and a power level of 2763, stands dominant. He internally muses, "Traitor Wang Sai is so ruthless, even the body of a Tyrannosaurus will be blown to dust at close range." The cowering doctor gasps, "What?" Amidst the lingering flames, a luminous orb of pure energy streaks across the scene, leaving a brilliant trail in its wake. With impossible precision, a hand reaches out and effortlessly catches the glowing orb, halting its trajectory. Baek Jung-hyuk appears, casually seated on a throne of golden energy, holding the captured orb. He remarks, "Not bad, congratulations on passing the test." His system panel reveals his divine hand ability, an unknown level, and a staggering power level of 16,534, along with an A-rank space backpack. Renha's eyes widen in shock as he demands, "When did you arrive?" Baek Jung-hyuk maintains his casual demeanor, a slight smile playing on his lips as he replies, "I've been watching you for a while." He then praises Ji Renha's strategic mind. "You don't take any risks. You're a general the moment you strike. What a great mind game." Ji Renha's reptilian eyes gleam with pride as he reflects, she just forgot that throwing is the skill that made primitive man the most feared species on Earth. He then adds, he has become many times stronger. Baek Jung-hyuk gestures grandly to his energy construct, announcing, "Let me introduce an exclusive throne that allows me to freely ascend and descend in the sky. With Wong's size, energy light, combined with my classmates' constant thrust." He then asks, "Isn't it cool?" Ji Renha dismisses Baek Jung-hyuk's elaborate display, scoffing, "Isn't it just an improvised escalator? Anyone can do it with pulley." Baek Jung-hyuk recoils in disbelief, exclaiming, "Wah, what a pulley." Renha, clearly frustrated, orders, "Change it, turn into a hot air balloon, turn into an airship." Baek Jung-hyuk, however, excitedly counters, "No, they're not cool enough. I can make super cool UFOs." As his energy construct shifts, an ominous red glow bathes the city as the narrator reveals, "People will come tomorrow, but now." Baek Jung-hyuk addresses Ji Renha, stating, "Brother, this is an S-rank pollute domain." He then reveals the grim truth, "If it weren't for special circumstances, I would have sacrificed millions of people to know the color change rule." Ji Renha's scales seem to bristle in disbelief as he demands, "How is this possible? When did this happen? Is it in a classified file?" Baek Jung-hyuk winks mischievously and tells Ji Renha, "Don't ask if you want to know. I like you, so I'll tell you the specific rules before it gets dark." Baek Jung-hyuk begins his explanation. "First, the statue of Golden Bull is a seal covered in some golden substance that I don't know about." He continues, "When it comes into contact with a person, it unfolds a pollute domain." Baek Jung-hyuk continues, "Second, when the pollute domain unfolds, it remains asleep." He elaborates on its awakening. "When a color change, larger than his own size appears, it'll be awakened and start slaughtering all the color changes." He then casually adds, "Some idiot summoned a huge chunk of magma." Baek Jung-hyuk explains the third crucial rule. Third, the color of an object comes from light. He then reveals the terrifying consequence. When sunlight disappears or is completely blocked, all creatures that have lost their color are considered to have undergone a color change, triggering indiscriminate attacks. Baek Jung-hyuk concludes the rules, stating, "Fourth, once all targets have been eliminated, the true form of the entity will appear. A monstrous, horned silhouette with burning red eyes is revealed." Baek Jung-hyuk smiles confidently, proclaiming, "And I will seal it after that." He then adds with a teasing grin, "I won't tell you the details for fear that you'll take it away from me." Ji Renha's expression darkens with concern as he realizes the danger, asking, "Then after dark, won't we face an attack too?" Jung-hyuk grins, opening a shimmering portal, and declares his cunning plan. "You Xian and I will hide inside and watch you get hammered outside." Ji Renha stares blankly, then responds with skepticism. "Really? I don't believe you." Baek Jung-hyuk sighs dramatically, retorting, "Haze, you have no sense of humor." Ignoring Baek Jung-hyuk's jibe, a confident Bai Xing, surrounded by his self-generated light, leans forward with a cunning smile. He challenges his captors, asking if they know his true identity. He then boldly declares, "My nickname? I am the King of Light's human light Bai Xing." An unnamed nurse, her face etched with disbelief, stares up at Bai Xing, questioning his ability to survive such circumstances. "Just like that, you can survive?" she asks, her voice laced with skepticism. Bai Xing calmly explains his capabilities, stating that he can protect himself by summoning a ball of light. He elaborates with energy channel and electric pixie. It's not a problem to keep the whole area illuminated at a constant level. The scene widens, revealing the comatose young miss on a stretcher, attended by an unnamed suit specialist. The massive unnamed reptilian creature stands guard, observing the unfolding situation with a watchful gaze. Bai Xing continues to detail his unique abilities, his red eyes gleaming. He recounts, "I was once asked to adjust the size of the light sphere to emit light of different brightness." Turning towards the darkening horizon, Bai Xing demonstrates his control over the light. He reveals, "Now I have adjusted the light to match the outside world. As the sun sets and the sky darkens, we are the only area that still has light and has not lost its color." With an intense stare, Bai Xing issues a chilling warning. He declares, "For her sake, I'll give you a chance to live. Just stay put and don't cause trouble for me." Both the unnamed suit specialist and the unnamed nurse react with visible apprehension, their faces showing concern at Bai Xing's words and the gravity of their situation. The unnamed reptilian creature casts a solemn gaze towards the unconscious young miss on the stretcher, a silent concern reflected in its reptilian eyes. Bai Xing, lost in thought, ponders his next move. He wonders, after this, where should I go? Pushkin could see the future. Perhaps he'll appear once the pollute domain is unsealed. His expression darkens as he delves deeper into his past. He questions, my sudden rebirth and taking away his golden bull statue may not have been something he could have foreseen. I personally witnessed the sealing process of one-day cycle and self-dissolution in my previous life. Why did he bring me to these 3 sealing events in my past life? Was it a trap for me? The unnamed reptilian creature voices its concern for the young miss, urging, I'm worried about young Miss's safety, so put her in the space backpack first. The unnamed nurse, looking distraught, agrees. She states, even though I'm a nameless fringe character, I think it's better to have a comatose young lady under someone's care at all times. Baek Jung-hyuk's eyes narrow with intense focus, suggesting he is keenly observing the unfolding events and processing the information. The unnamed suit specialist, appearing flustered, clarifies their intentions. He insists we're not trying to take this opportunity to hide inside. We've just been ordered to follow the young miss at all times. Bai Xing reveals the young Miss's condition, explaining her coma was caused by her power level being depleted, which can be restored by giving her 1 energy level. He then adds, I won't wake her up until the seal is complete, so I'd better get her inside. As Bai Xing reaches into the swirling purple portal, he senses something unexpected. He mutters, wait a sec, I think there's something inside. With a look of surprise, Bai Xing pulls a piece of dark, lacy fabric from the portal, realizing something fundamental about its nature. He questions, so it opens in the same space? Kneeling, Bai Xing holds the retrieved item and addresses the others, stating, there are only a few supplies left, so there's enough room for both of you. The unnamed suit specialist, still hesitant, asks, is it really possible? A sinister smile spreads across Bai Xing's face as he issues a dire warning. He threatens, if you dare to make a move on Guxian, I can open the portal and kill you at any time if I'm not dead. If I'm dead, you'll be trapped inside forever. With the ominous threat hanging in the air, the unnamed suit specialist and the unnamed nurse push the stretcher carrying the young miss into the swirling purple portal under the watchful eye of Bai Xing and the unnamed reptilian creature. The unnamed nurse glances back one last time as she is fully enveloped by the vibrant purple portal, disappearing into its depths. The outside world continues its descent into darkness, the red-tinged sky casting an eerie glow over the distant city skyline, emphasizing the isolation of their location. The unnamed reptilian creature observes the changing environment, remarking gravely, it's getting dark. Bai Xing provocatively asks the unnamed reptilian creature, are you scared? The creature responds, beginning to explain, the G family has never been afraid of pollutants, it's just... Xing interjects with a sly grin, completing the creature's thought or offering a cynical summary of the situation. Mess inside mess, right? The unnamed reptilian creature offers a philosophical perspective, asserting, drop it. Geniuses and exalted individuals who are bent on having their own way will inevitably be ostracized, and it is only a delusion that they will be able to eliminate the pollutants and save mankind. Others who want to use the results of their research to revitalize their families should be understood. Bai Xing then presses for information, stating, what exactly is the G family's research? I respect you enough not to read your mind, so tell me. The unnamed reptilian creature, identifying himself as a butler, replies, I'm just a butler, I don't know much. But what caused the G family to split and attracted foreign enemies to covet was a leaked thesis paper. The unnamed reptilian creature reveals the core of the controversy. He explains, young Mrs. Father, the head of the G family, G Renha, wrote a thesis called The Relationship Between Pollutants and Sealers, and the feasibility of using pollutants to enhance sealers' abilities. Bai Xing's expression shifts to one of shock as he processes the implications. He exclaims, the theory that people can be polluted and the abilities of sealers come from pollutants originally came from him. You've got results already? Otherwise, the G family wouldn't be in such a mess all of a sudden. The unnamed reptilian creature admits his limited knowledge, speculating, I don't know anything else. Maybe the family head is conducting the experiment for young Mrs. sake. He then extends an invitation, if you have a chance, you can come to the G family. Bai Xing, with a determined look, dismisses further discussion. He declares, we'll talk about it later. It's already started. Suddenly, desperate cries echo through the desolate, dark environment. Help! The sounds indicate immediate danger and chaos erupting nearby. A terrified, unnamed man collapses, screaming in agony. He cries out, "CK, Bai Xing, you've harmed me. I can't accept it," as a monstrous, shadowy entity looms over him. 3 fiery, comet-like projectiles blaze through the dark, red-tinged sky, descending rapidly with destructive force. More fiery projectiles rain down, striking a building with explosive impact, further devastating the already grim landscape. Amidst the desolation, Bai Xing observes, looks like it's over, there's no one left alive. The unnamed reptilian creature then poses a critical question. How are you going to seal it? Bai Xing, kneeling, echoes the creature's question, a thoughtful and slightly troubled expression on his face. He wonders aloud, yeah, how am I going to seal it? The unnamed reptilian creature explains the nature of the domain. As the domain loses its colors, its own body will wander into the darkness, searching for the only colors left and keeping watch. Bai Xing then identifies this as a crucial moment. This is the only chance to come into contact with it. Within the creature's shifting domain, the very fabric of reality warps, its colors fading as the entity searches for the last vestiges of light. Baek Jung-hyuk confronts the monstrous entity, a being of pure shadow and crimson energy, its glowing eyes fixed on the only source of vibrant color remaining. Baek Jung-hyuk hovers above the ground, his shadowy power extending, ready to sever the creature's connection to the fading colors within its own domain, aiming to blind it to them. The decisive command, Baek Jung-hyuk unleashes his shadow ability, sending dark tendrils to envelop the massive creature. The shadowy forms surge forward, consuming the creature's monstrous body, attempting to cut off its senses entirely. Recognizing the limited range of his A-rank shadow ability, Baek Jung-hyuk realizes it can be amplified by injecting additional power. His purple, tentacled arm manifests, poised to channel more energy. Baek Jung-hyuk injects a staggering 3,000 units of power into his shadow ability, the purple energy intensifying around the creature, further obscuring its form. The surge of power manifests as a blinding red flash, tearing through the creature's shadowy form, an overwhelming force unleashed. The immense energy ripples outward, distorting the very space around the creature as Baek Jung-hyuk's enhanced ability takes hold. The demonic bull's polluted domain begins to shatter, fragments of crimson reality splintering into the void as it disintegrates under the assault. The demonic bull bares its sharp teeth, its reptilian gaze fixed on the crumbling domain, a silent acknowledgement of the unfolding chaos. As the domain collapses, Baek Jung-hyuk finds himself back in the physical realm, the portal still shimmering above as two bewildered individuals lie on the ground, their stretcher overturned. A sinister grin spreads across Baek Jung-hyuk's face as he declares the next step, to seal the demonic bull within his space backpack and extract it from the area. Baek Jung-hyuk channels an additional 4,000 power to expand his space backpack, the vortex swirling intensely as it begins to draw in the massive shadowy form of the demonic bull. With a final surge of power, Baek Jung-hyuk clenches his fist, the swirling vortex above collapsing into a single point of light as the sealing process completes. Baek Jung-hyuk confirms the sealing is complete. Unlike a typical full seal, the demonic bull remains awake, though its ability to trigger rules has been severed. Baek Jung-hyuk reveals his true intent. The partial seal allows him to unleash the demonic bull swiftly in times of dire need, transforming it into a formidable weapon. As Baek Jung-hyuk makes his escape, he bestows a surge of power upon the unconscious individual on the stretcher, leaving the reptilian monitor behind, who reacts to his action. Baek Jung-hyuk vaults over a barrier, his purple tentacle arm a blur as he makes a swift, decisive exit from the scene. With a playful, yet cunning, smile, Baek Jung-hyuk bids farewell, his mission accomplished. As he plummets, Baek Jung-hyuk activates his abilities, Body Transparency C, Winged Flight F, Constant Thrust D, and Telekinesis C, manifesting ethereal wings to break his fall and ascend. Soaring through the air, Baek Jung-hyuk activates Vision C, his glowing eyes scanning the horizon, eager to locate his good brother, Long Shark Jin Pun. With a jolt, the unnamed purple-haired student's eyes snap open, revealing a vibrant purple hue, a direct result of the power bestowed upon her. The unnamed purple-haired student cries out, disoriented and shocked as she awakens, still partially covered by the hospital blanket. Recognizing the gravity of the situation, the reptilian monitor insists they must leave immediately, sensing an impending emergency. The reptilian monitor muses that Baek Jung-hyuk's swift departure was likely driven by a premonition of the escalating danger. The unnamed purple-haired student, now dressed, agrees to leave, stating she has information for her father and requests more details about Baek Jung-hyuk during their journey. Unnamed purple-haired student questions the reptilian monitor, asking if he remains in his transformed state as a precaution, implying a continued threat. From a vantage point, the reptilian monitor and the unnamed purple-haired student gaze upon a horrifying scene, the stadium below engulfed in raging flames, a testament to the disaster unfolding. The unnamed purple-haired student stares in disbelief, questioning what horrific events transpired in just half a day, to which the reptilian monitor grimly confirms it is a disaster. With a determined declaration, the unnamed purple-haired student sits atop the reptilian monitor's shoulder as they prepare to depart, moving swiftly through the ruined landscape. A colossal, horned beast, wreathed in flames, executes a powerful leap over a chain-link fence, leaving a destructive trajectory behind. Below, two diminutive figures stand amidst the ruins, observing the chaos unfold. The urban landscape stands stark against the night sky, towering buildings illuminated by scattered lights, a silent testament to a world where pockets of normalcy persist amidst unseen turmoil. Inside a dimly lit room, the green-haired woman, partially covered in bed, expresses her affection for the blonde man, asking, "Brother Kim, I really like you. When will we get married?" The blonde man, taking a drag from his cigarette, dismisses her question with a weary expression, stating, "Didn't I tell you? I'm on the upswing, so let's wait." Sudden, powerful impact echoes, rattling the structure. An unseen force shakes the room as the green-haired woman's voice exclaims, "I agree." The blonde man stands in his shorts as the green-haired woman, still in bed, demands, "Where did this kid come from?" The little girl points, declaring, "Daddy, I like her. I want her." The green-haired woman continues, "Who is she? Didn't you say you were single?" The blonde man clarifies, "It's my daughter. I didn't lie to you. I'm single. I'm divorced." The blonde man chuckles darkly, finding the situation troublesome. He encourages his daughter, "Get close to her, daughter," as the little girl grins with a mischievous kuhu. From the doorway of room 1409, the green-haired woman, wrapped in a blanket, glares angrily at the blonde man, shouting, "Hey, you!" On a dark street, the mysterious dark-haired man walks with purpose, leaving a trail of glowing footprints. He declares with chilling certainty, "Found you." The blonde man, on the phone, receives a report. "Boss, did you get the money? 8 out of 10 debtors were collected today." He adds, 3 of them still have outstanding IOUs, so I can collect them again." The dark-haired man's voice responds, "Good, you've done a great job. I trust you the most." The blonde man looks up at the night sky, reflecting on his seemingly perfect life. "My life is going really well. My boss trusts me, and my daughter awakened at the age of 10. He then sinisterly muses, "Well, I'll just get rid of him and do it alone." The blonde man's expression twists in shock as the dark-haired man's voice asserts authority over the phone. "As your superior, I'll arrange for your work later." Still holding his phone, the blonde man defiantly reminds his superior, "Boss, you said I'd take the day off after collecting debts. Find someone else." The dark-haired man, on the other end of the line, calmly responds with a sinister smile, "Oh, I see. Report on today's business." The chilling aura, the dark-haired man gestures, a purple tendril extending from his arm as he prepares to deliver his next command. "My next order to you is to..." The dark-haired man, with a menacing grin, orders the now terrified blonde man, "Recall the deaths of every debtor you coerced into dying, and then do the same to yourself." The dark-haired man mercilessly mocks the blonde man's terror, demanding, "Why are you acting like a coward? You're a disgrace." With a cruel smile, the dark-haired man extends his hand, offering the distraught blonde man a twisted solace. "I'll give you the power to die without fear." The dark-haired man points across the street, his words a chilling directive. "The first way to die is to cross the road and get hit by a truck." The blonde man, compelled, stumbles forward. Dark-haired man stands at the door of room 1409, his purple tentacle arm visibly extending. He announces with a chilling smile, "I found your daughter. Delivery." A large, fluffy dog creature, with its tongue lolling out, peeks from behind the partially open door, startling the dark-haired man with its unexpected appearance. The dark-haired man observes as the dog creature fully emerges, revealing a human-like body with canine features. He remarks, "Oh, what a hunt," a hint of amusement in his tone. The little girl, now in her dog creature form, stands beside the green-haired woman, also transformed into a furry creature, lying on the bed. The dark-haired man watches, his expression unreadable. Dark-haired man, holding a glowing orb, asks the dog creature, "Is it fun? Do you want to become one with my dog?" The little girl, in her transformed state, enthusiastically replies, "Play? Sure, but only if you follow my rules." A system notification, superior command, initiating, flashes. Baek Jung-hyuk lets out a pained gasp, his eyes burning with intense strain as the superior command initiates within him. A surge of dark red energy erupts from Baek Jung-hyuk's left side, clawing at his face and stifling a desperate cry. Baek Jung-hyuk screams in agony as the crimson energy twists and pulls at his form, while an internal thought questions if the seal is failing. Collapsing to the floor, Baek Jung-hyuk grapples with the agonizing realization that his shadow-based countermeasure, meant to sever the rule, has inexplicably failed. With a desperate resolve, Baek Jung-hyuk extends his hand towards a volatile vortex of dark energy, attempting to reassert control over the surging power. Baek Jung-hyuk frantically injects more power into the seal, noting the previous 3,000 power levels have dwindled to 2,400 and commands to add another 3,000. A system notification updates his current power level to 6124. The dark vortex roars to life, transforming into a monstrous, shadowy entity with malevolent red eyes, consuming Baek Jung-hyuk's outstretched hand as it absorbs the immense power. Baek Jung-hyuk collapses, gasping for breath as he acknowledges the temporary relief, but the struggle is far from over. A grim realization dawns on Baek Jung-hyuk. The shadow seal is permanently damaged, its power levels depleted, as the invading entity attempts to seize control of his body. He fears he won't survive 3 more days under this relentless assault. As the scene shifts to a bustling city street, Baek Jung-hyuk's internal monologue questions whether he must unleash the entity, allowing the dangerous pollute domain to re-emerge. Baek Jung-hyuk slams his hand against the wall, declaring his absolute refusal to yield. This struggle, he realizes, is the critical juncture to dismantle Pushkin's plan and secure his long-awaited revenge. A man is violently slammed against a wall, blood splattering, as the transformed little girl, now a fluffy, dog-like creature, gleefully announces she's been instructed to play. Baek Jung-hyuk, observing his glowing hand, initiates a retrieval, stating he cannot afford to waste any more power levels. His power level instantly updates to 6422. With a determined scowl, Baek Jung-hyuk declares his intention to spare the boss for now, prioritizing other matters. A system notification confirms the initiation of his new skill, Body Transparency. Now transparent, Baek Jung-hyuk ascends a staircase, his thoughts focused on finding Guxin, hoping her father's research holds the key to a more effective sealing method. Scene shifts to a sterile laboratory as Baek Jung-hyuk's voice expresses contempt for Yu Guang, hinting at a past grievance. A man with a weary expression, a lab coat draped over his shoulders, slurps instant noodles, a moment of mundane sustenance in a tense atmosphere. The scientist, now seen in full, reflects on an abnormal individual, revealing his extensive preparations had fortunately mitigated potential disasters. The muscular bodyguard praises the family head's wisdom, admitting he almost allowed Guxin to be harmed, while Guxin, acknowledging her own deception, questions her father on how he uncovered the truth. The scientist, with a sinister chuckle, reveals he chemically altered the abnormal individual after discovering his perverted acts, ensuring he could never be normal. Guxin stammers in shock, then presses her father on how he knew about the peeping. With a knowing smirk, the scientist reassures Guxin, revealing he orchestrated every interaction in the abnormal person's life, twisting his perception of popularity into a facade for his true, broken mental state. The scientist further confesses to using items to deliberately stunt the individual's power growth. Guxin, in a chibi-like expression of amusement, remarks on the irony of his situation, admitting she feels no pity but questions her father's extreme strictness. The scientist's expression hardens, his blue eyes piercing, as he reveals the individual was always a devil, having brutally murdered a 4-year-old girl at the tender age of 12. The scientist, shrouded in shadow, continues his grim recounting, explaining that due to his absence, the G family, led by the child's father and uncle Ji Renmei, suppressed the murder, ensuring the perpetrator faced no punishment. The empty noodle cup reflects the stark reality. The G family's past cover-up has been exposed. Now, a powerful figure, second only to the dean, seeks to manipulate the scientist through Ji Renmei to seize all his research. Guxin, her eyes wide with concern, asks if her father is in danger, then bravely offers her assistance, revealing her newly awakened powers. Scientist beams with paternal pride, declaring Guxin's awakening a joyous occasion and promising a celebratory party in a few days. The scientist reassures Guxin, promising to settle matters with her uncle later. He then expresses keen interest in meeting the student Bai Xing, whom she had mentioned. With a menacing glint in his eyes, the scientist declares he will personally castrate Bai Xing if he harbors any inappropriate feelings for Guxin, causing Guxin to nervously exclaim that he'll scare him off. The scientist gently pats Guxin's head, a rare moment of tenderness, as the muscular bodyguard observes them silently. The bodyguard's stern face reflects his grim premonition. A significant upheaval is set to strike the G family tonight. As night falls, the bodyguard escorts Guxin to the imposing G family building, telling her to rest after her hard work. The scientist, donning a dramatic red cloak, laments his past obsession with research, which allowed the branch family to seize power. He declares that after tonight, the G family will either be purged and returned to his control, or they will all perish with him. Gently petting a cat, the scientist muses that if his daughter survived the school incident, the conspiracy must be public knowledge, meaning there's no longer a need for secrecy. As the scientist fully dons his red cloak, he reveals his meticulous preparations. The entire building has been evacuated, security measures disabled, ensuring an unhindered battleground. With a chilling blend of human and feline intensity, the scientist's eyes gleam as he declares that anyone daring to enter the building now is undoubtedly an enemy. A predatory cat's eye snaps open, its slit pupil reflecting a chilling intensity that mirrors the scientist's own transformation, his gaze now sharp and calculating. The scientist's hand meticulously adjusts his round glasses, a simple wedding band glinting on his finger, a subtle reminder of a life beyond the impending conflict. The scientist's feline half becomes more pronounced, his eye, magnified by the round lens, now a glowing orb of predatory insight, a stark contrast to the human side of his face. The transformation deepens, the cat-like half of Ji Renhua's face now fully revealed, sharp fangs glinting as a chilling hiss escapes his lips. His eye, magnified by the lens, glows with an ominous light. The system reveals the first artifact, the red raincoat A4396. This potent item grants its wearer complete undetectability in reality, plunging their senses into an apocalyptic realm of ceaseless rain. Next, the half-cat face B4996 grants a feline's perception, masking scent and revealing hidden truths, even showing visions the cat desires. Coupled with the omniscient lens A10081, which displays object information as text, the user gains unparalleled insight, though at the risk of blindness if the knowledge proves too much. Cloaked in the red raincoat, Ji Renhua, now a chilling hybrid, declares that with these three pollutants combined, he can hide in the shadows, observe everything, and unveil all secrets. He observes a faint figure materialize in the darkened room, noting their arrival as expected, yet questioning their identity. Baek Jung-hyuk, a translucent specter, drifts through the server room, confused by the apparent emptiness. He recalls seeing Ji Yu-Xian leave and distinctly hearing her father's voice, wondering where Ji Renhua could have gone. Realizing time is short, Baek Jung-hyuk decides to leave a message, his ethereal form reaching towards the desk. As he writes, Baek Jung-hyuk introduces himself as White Star, a fan, and urgently requests useful information to save Ji Renhua's daughter. Meanwhile, the hidden Ji Renhua dismisses this funny guy, knowing now is not the time for such antics. As Baek Jung-hyuk continues, the omniscient lens reveals the target's true identity. Bai Xing, an 18-year-old male with a staggering power level of 642, possessing multiple formidable A, B, and C rank abilities, including Rebirth, Thermal Mastery, Rock Fist, Black Shadow, Sound Control, and Mind Probe. Ji Renhua questions how one individual could wield so many abilities simultaneously. Ji Renhua decides to actively use his omniscient lens to uncover the truth behind Bai Xing's extraordinary abilities. The omniscient lens flares, its golden eye piercing through reality, preparing to extract hidden information. A surge of fiery red and orange energy erupts, signifying the lens's activation, as a shadowy form is revealed within its searing gaze. Ji Renhua recoils in shock, his mind reeling as the omniscient lens reveals the devastating truth. The subject is not just a powerful individual, but an S-class pollutant. Casting aside the half-cat face, Ji Renhua bursts into maniacal laughter, recognizing Baek Jung-hyuk as his dear son-in-law. Floating triumphantly, Ji Renhua exclaims his disbelief and greedy desire for the S-class pollutant, while Baek Jung-hyuk stares up in utter shock. Baek Jung-hyuk activates telekinesis C-rank, manifesting a shimmering blue energy wall to block the approaching Ji Renhua. Baek Jung-hyuk, addressing Ji Renhua, Yu-Xian's father, warns him not to get too excited, as unleashing the S-class pollutant would doom them all. Ji Renhua, undeterred, insists on just a look, claiming he shares Baek Jung-hyuk's purpose of studying it. Baek Jung-hyuk's crimson eyes narrow, his mind racing with suspicion. He internally notes Ji Renhua's overly solicitous nature, fearing hidden evil intentions. While acknowledging a researcher's obsession with S-class pollutants, he realizes he cannot fully trust him, wary of becoming a guinea pig in Ji Renhua's dangerous experiments. Ji Renhua attempts to reassure Baek Jung-hyuk, claiming the S-class pollutant isn't dangerous, citing his knowledge of its rules. Baek Jung-hyuk retorts, incredulous, questioning how something capable of destroying an entire city could be considered safe. With a sly smile, Ji Renhua tosses a strange, purple, tentacled creature towards Baek Jung-hyuk, urging him to try this. Baek Jung-hyuk cries out in disgust and alarm as the creature lands on his hand, spewing black ink. Ji Renhua's voice echoes, reassuring Baek Jung-hyuk not to be afraid of the mischievous jellyfish C75, a pollutant with negligible side effects, yet surprisingly helpful. Ji Renhua warns Baek Jung-hyuk that if he doesn't pick up the jellyfish, its ink will soon drown the entire building, leaving Baek Jung-hyuk speechless. A swift golden light streaks across the frame, indicating rapid movement. Baek Jung-hyuk now holds the mischievous jellyfish, safely contained by a C-class golden seal, preventing its ink from spreading further. Ji Renhua gestures towards the large data screens, explaining that the Western continent, rich in oil, has become a hotbed of strife and war. He continues, revealing that a small country discovered an immense oil field with over 800 million tons in reserves. Driven by greed, they sought to exploit it secretly, bypassing existing agreements for greater wealth. Just a month later, satellite maps showed the entire country engulfed in an inexplicable darkness, with all communications silenced. This, Ji Renhua grimly concludes, was undoubtedly another S-plus class pollutant catastrophe. In response, global powers convened a joint conference. After 8 days of intense negotiations, 8 S-class sealers were dispatched as a vanguard, supported by 293 A-class powerhouses at the borders, all united to control the pollutant spread. The world braced itself for the impending crisis. Despite their efforts, Ji Renhua reveals the grim outcome. By the time the 8 S-class sealers arrived, risking certain death, the small country was already completely submerged in the pollutant sink, leaving no survivors. The mischievous jellyfish, continuously spewing ink, floated on the water's surface until it was struck. The sealers then carefully contained it within a sealed box, causing the vast sea of ink to miraculously disappear. Ji Renhua scoffs, finding it farcical that such a seemingly simple C-rank pollutant, the mischievous jellyfish, with its rule to continuously spew ink, could wipe out an entire country in a mere month. Ji Renhua instructs Baek Jung-hyuk to combine the jellyfish with the bull he's hidden, explaining that within a closed space, their conflicting rules will naturally restrain each other. Baek Jung-hyuk ponders the concept of rules restraining each other. He realizes his space backpack's connection to the outside world, and the golden bull's constant reception of external color stimulation means his shadow barrier is continually consumed. A new idea sparks in Baek Jung-hyuk's mind. Perhaps he can fill his space backpack with the jellyfish's pollutant ink instead of shadows, a potentially viable solution to his energy consumption problem. Ji Renhua, a tentacle subtly emerging from his mouth, poses a chilling question. What if the rules collide, causing an even more drastic, unpredictable change? Baek Jung-hyuk, however, counters with a grim truth. The only way to fight a pollutant is with another pollutant, acknowledging the desperate nature of their situation. Ji Renhua then presents another pollutant, the C-class satiated octopus, whose rule is to rapidly grow and occupy half of any given space. He jokingly adds that if consumed, it would make one feel full on half the food, a trick he wouldn't even share with his daughter for weight loss. Ji Renhua further explains that if unleashed in open space, the satiated octopus would likely burst into the galaxy, consuming half its volume. Yet, Ji Renhua dismisses the grave warning, gesturing around his lab and insisting there are countless other pollutants with minimal side effects that prove incredibly useful. With a wide, almost predatory grin, Ji Renhua proposes a bold exchange, all his other pollutants for Baek Jung-hyuk's bull. Baek Jung-hyuk, startled, questions if Ji Renhua intends to take back the very jellyfish he just handed over. Ji Renhua's mind races, recalling a mysterious figure who appeared out of nowhere, seemingly hidden by a raincoat and mask. He ponders if such a disguise could be used to sneak up on Pushkin. Baek Jung-hyuk firmly rejects the trade, declaring the item too important to him. Ji Renhua, taken aback, asks if Baek Jung-hyuk simply doesn't like it. Ji Renhua's eyes widen in fury, mistakenly believing Baek Jung-hyuk wishes to trade his daughter. He roars a vehement refusal, leaving Baek Jung-hyuk speechless at the bizarre misunderstanding. Calming slightly, Ji Renhua holds out a small, dark seal, telling Baek Jung-hyuk that the trade doesn't matter and he can simply take it. Baek Jung-hyuk politely declines, stating that one seal is already a great favor. Ji Renhua then offers a pair of round spectacles, explaining they are for his daughter. He warns Baek Jung-hyuk to not die too soon, implying the glasses will help him harness his vast potential. Baek Jung-hyuk silently observes the spectacles resting upon the satiated octopus tentacle, his thoughts unreadable as he processes Ji Renhua's cryptic words. Baek Jung-hyuk's hand extends, conjuring a vibrant purple energy ring that encircles the small, ethereal form of the satiated octopus, a golden thread of power connecting to his palm. Baek Jung-hyuk senses a shift, noting that the jellyfish is now spewing ink and the rate of shadow power consumption is finally slowing down, indicating a successful containment or control. Ji Renhua turns his back, casually dismissing Baek Jung-hyuk, stating he's too busy tonight to see him off, despite Baek Jung-hyuk's unasked questions. Ji Renhua points towards an exit, urging Baek Jung-hyuk to hurry, indicating it's the faster way out of the facility. As he walks away, Ji Renhua glances back, delivering a chilling warning. In this world, only his daughter remains good, and if Baek Jung-hyuk harms her, he'll face dire consequences. Baek Jung-hyuk reassures Ji Renhua of his respect for the daughter, but internally, he questions the sudden change in Ji Renhua's attitude and his abrupt dismissal. Deciding not to dwell on questions he shouldn't ask, Baek Jung-hyuk sprouts magnificent white wings and leaps from the window, leaving the mysterious lab behind. Soaring through the night sky, Baek Jung-hyuk sets his immediate priorities: avoid a confrontation with Pushkin, locate Guxin, and strategically go into hiding. His ultimate goal is to collect 1,000 abilities and achieve a staggering power level of 100 million. Back in the lab, Ji Renhua opens a hidden compartment, triumphantly exclaiming that he has found what he was looking for: a dark, clawed glove pulsing with sinister purple energy. He identifies the item as the Black Monkey Claw, an A-class seal. Ji Renhua reveals his true, sinister plan. This artifact will replace the omniscient lens as the central component of his second experiment. A figure in a red raincoat, identical to the one Ji Renhua envisioned earlier, stands facing a window. Ji Renhua observes, a sinister smile forming, noting that the mysterious visitor has indeed arrived. A formidable group advances through a sterile corridor, led by Ji Li-ming, a masked man in a sharp suit. He introduces his younger brother, Ji Ren-mei, to the unseen observer. System readouts flash, revealing Ji Li-ming's A-class Snake Twist ability and a power level of 4,321. Beside him, Ji Ren-mei possesses a B-class ability and a power level of 1997. The elegant Sun Miao Z steps forward, her A-class white electric ability and formidable power level of 8,745 displayed by the system. Next, Chun Kuan, a powerful A-class ability user with beastification and an astounding power level of 13,496, is revealed. Ji Renhua internally acknowledges the formidable power of the invited man, understanding the source of his confidence. Ji Renhua, now fully revealed as the man in the red raincoat, confronts the group. Half his face grotesquely transforms into a feline beast, his eye glowing with an eerie light as he rejects their demands to lift restrictions on pollutants, condemning their abuse as a path to humanity's swift destruction. His hand fully morphs into a monstrous, fur-covered claw, crackling with purple energy. Ji Renhua declares his research is on the right track, vowing to do whatever it takes to succeed, before coldly bidding the intruders farewell. Under the shroud of night, a grand mansion stands, watched over by a stoic, muscular man in a suit and sunglasses, an ominous calm before the storm. Inside, a young woman with long, flowing hair and delicate features sits serenely in a well-appointed bedroom, unaware of the impending danger. She delicately tends to her feet, a moment of peaceful domesticity that belies the tension building outside. A close-up reveals the precise clipping of a toenail, a simple, innocent act that serves as a stark contrast to the escalating conflict. Suddenly, her eyes snap open, wide with alarm. She senses an intrusion, her peaceful moment shattered as she asks, "Who is there?" Outside the mansion, the night explodes into a blinding flash of light as a powerful impact rocks the building. The muscular man, previously stoic, gazes up in utter shock at the sudden, violent assault. The smoke and debris settle within the ruined bedroom, revealing the sheer devastation of the impact that just rocked the mansion. Kneeling amidst the dust, the man is a charred silhouette, his body smoking from the blast. He grinds his teeth, muttering that the hit actually managed to hurt. The woman panics, her eyes wide with shock as she offers to find bandages for his horrific burns, but he raises a hand, firmly telling her to stop. Gazing at his blackened hand, he calmly explains that he possesses healing abilities. He sees this as the perfect opportunity to test his limits. His inner power flares to life as he activates his recovery and bone regeneration abilities, drawing on his energy to mend his shattered frame. Fully restored, he adjusts his tie, noting he has just enough strength to survive. The woman trembles, admitting she was terrified for his life. She recounts the horror of seeing tentacles at the window, fearing a monster was imitating his voice to lure her into a trap. He explains that suction cups made it easy to scale the building. She remains skeptical, finding his rapid recovery of hair and clothes impossible to believe. With a smirk, he tells her it doesn't matter if she believes him. He was only checking on her safety before making his exit. The woman looks down, her voice filled with regret. She laments passing out and being unable to help him, especially after he was injured in the struggle. He gives her a reassuring smile, waving a newly manifested limb while promising that his body is easily fixed. She calls her contact to report her safety. He keeps his focus sharp. He has his own agenda and cannot afford to linger. He triggers his flight ability. Massive white wings erupt from his back, shedding feathers as he prepares to take to the night sky. She reaches out, insisting that she hasn't thanked him properly for everything he's done. He pauses, agreeing to change his clothes so they can have dinner together before he departs. He knows the enemy is likely already tracking him. If he delays any longer, the confrontation will be unavoidable. The enemy's ability is foresight. No matter where he runs, the destination has already been calculated. It's a deadly game of mental chess. If the enemy knows his every move, then escaping is just another part of the grand arrangement. He realizes playing mind games is futile against a precog. Unless he can land a direct mental probe, he's walking straight into a trap. She notices his sudden tension, asking why he seems so incredibly anxious all of a sudden. She emerges in a stunning blue dress, surrounded by a floral aura. Her presence is a stark contrast to the violence of the evening. With a playful wink, she advises him to stop worrying about the future and simply enjoy the present moment. He concedes, flashing a grin as he reminds her that since he's broke, she's the one footing the bill for dinner. The woman blushes, wondering if he intends to carry her in his arms and fly like a scene straight out of a comic book. He scoffs at the idea, calling it cheap. He manifests a glowing golden construct, declaring that a man's true romance is a spaceship. Golden craft streaks across the night sky, leaving a trail of light as a mysterious man in a suit watches their departure in silence. They arrive at a high-end shopping center, the lights of the city reflecting off the modern architecture. At the buffet, she is in her element, admitting she's using him as an excuse to finally try the food her father forbade. She digs into a slice of strawberry cake, savoring every bite of the long-awaited treat. As she eats, she mentions that her head has been flooded with new ideas ever since her powers awakened. He listens while chewing on a sausage, warning her that these new abilities often come with unexpected side effects. She is undeterred, stating that her power would be meaningless if she simply passed out from exhaustion every time she used it. She looks determined, hoping that if her plan works, she can become a vital asset to her father and his allies. He nods, confirming that his healing ability is primed and ready to support her through the trial. A massive stack of empty plates begins to pile up as the experiment commences. The ability is designed to extract calories and store them in solid form, allowing for a massive increase in food intake. The side effect is immediate and shocking. She has ballooned in size, her clothes straining as she claims she's only half full. She beams with joy, thrilled that she no longer has to worry about her appetite diminishing or gaining weight in the traditional sense. He stares in deadpan silence, realizing she'll probably have a breakdown the moment she sees a mirror. He quickly scans his available skills, looking for a way to help her return to her original shape before the night is over. Man watches as the woman continues her relentless eating spree, her form noticeably shifting with every bite. To avoid a scene, he quickly offers to fetch some fruit, hoping to buy some time. He steps away, his mind racing with a backup plan. If she breaks down, he'll need a way to stabilize her condition before things spiral out of control. As he moves through the restaurant, his foot lands in a strange, shimmering puddle on the floor. Something feels off about the texture of the ground. He continues walking, his purple shadowy energy trailing slightly behind him. He doesn't realize yet that the restaurant's layout is beginning to warp. The puddle ripples violently even after he has passed, the water acting as a gateway rather than a simple spill. Deep within the reflection, a distorted version of the man stares back, his red eyes glowing with a predatory intensity. Unaware of the spatial trap, he keeps moving toward the service area, but the air around him begins to hum with hostile mana. Another step, and the ground feels like it's losing its physical properties, turning into a viscous liquid that pulls at his heels. The surroundings blur into a chaotic mess of motion. The reality of the restaurant is being stripped away in an instant. The transition is complete. The solid floor is gone, replaced by a void that offers no resistance. Back at the table, the woman pauses her meal, looking around in confusion. The man is taking far too long to return with the fruit. Suddenly, he is no longer in the building. He is plummeting through the open sky, thousands of feet above a vast, churning ocean. Gravity takes hold, dragging him down at terminal velocity. He has seconds to react before the impact becomes fatal. He tries to summon his flight ability, hoping for his wings to manifest and catch the wind. Massive white wings burst from his back, but they hang limp. An error flashes. The physics of this zone are restricted. He realizes with horror that flight is restricted. His wings are nothing more than dead weight in this cursed airspace. Anger replaces fear. He's been ambushed, lured into a trap designed to negate his primary mobility. He needs to pivot and fast. The sea is rushing up to meet him. At this altitude, hitting the water will be like hitting solid concrete. He has to cycle through his other skills. He initiates a rapid-fire sequence of enhancements to stiffen his frame and boost his physical strength and agility. Next, he triggers transformations to expand and warp his physical form to absorb the coming kinetic energy. Stacks various defensive skills, turning his body into a multi-layered shell of reinforced armor. He doesn't stop there. He calls out for all his summons, desperate to create a buffer between himself and the ocean surface. In a flash of light, his arsenal appears, swirling around him in a chaotic vortex. Using a fusion ability, he commands them to merge with him, creating a massive, protective mass to support his descent and break his fall. He increases the density of the air around him, using the resulting friction to fight against the pull of gravity. For the final push, he ignites thrust abilities combined with telekinetic and magnetic control to create a powerful reaction force. He becomes a living comet, using every ounce of mana to slow his velocity. He is pushing his limits to the absolute maximum. With the help of his combined skills, he prepares for the final impact. Water control and regeneration skills are queued up for the aftermath. As he hits the water, his only thought is finding out who dared to set this trap. He survives the impact, but the real fight is just beginning. Deep beneath the waves, a mermaid-like entity watches the surface. She notes the arrival of a guest as two other figures wait in a protective bubble nearby. San, possessing the mermaid bloodline, narrows her eyes as she senses a target. With a predatory smirk, she tells her companions to prepare to ambush and rob him first. Inside the protective bubble, Kong Xiaohua, who has the steal ability, sets her terms. She demands the right to choose first if she successfully swipes the seal and ability crystal. Yen Kupeng, using his air bubble ability, offers a casual shrug. He's willing to let her have the lion's share, as he only truly needs the ability crystals. Deal is struck. San glides through the dark water, signaling her agreement as the two humans remain poised within their shimmering sphere. Without wasting a second, Kong Xiaohua reaches out and activates her steel skill. Rainbow light erupts from her palm, reaching through the void to snatch the target's belongings. The skill is a success. A small, confused-looking jellyfish and several glowing crystals are forcibly manifested, pulled toward her hand by the invisible tether of her power. Examining the loot, Kong Xiaohua is unimpressed by the seal, noting its strength is too low. However, she catalogs a flamethrower power crystal and 2 power-level crystals. Yen Kupeng reaches out to claim his share of the glowing gems. Satisfied for the moment, he tells her that's enough for a while as they prepare for the next phase. Yusan-san watches the exchange with a cruel grin, her sharp teeth on full display. She plans to take everything for herself once the target is dead, sensing that he is finally arriving. Suddenly, Yusan-san's expression shifts to confusion. She wonders how the target is still functioning, questioning Kong Xiaohua about the flamethrower crystal she was supposed to have stolen. High above, a streak of roaring flames cuts through the water. Baek Jung-hyuk descends like a vengeful meteor, his presence turning the ocean into a boiling cauldron of rage. The impact is imminent. Kong Xiaohua is startled as the jellyfish she just stole suddenly vanishes from her grasp, leaving her wondering if the target somehow took it back. Panic sets in as she realizes this isn't their expected target, Jin Renhua. Desperate for information, she activates Mind Probe to identify the powerful intruder. Yusan-san prepares for battle while Kong Xiaohua's thoughts race with greed and malice. She curses the target's weak flamethrower ability while craving more power. Kong Xiaohua realizes with a jolt of alarm that someone has actually dared to make trouble for them, her face contorting as she feels the weight of Baek Jung-hyuk's power. Baek Jung-hyuk strikes with overwhelming force. A massive shadow arm erupts, clashing against the fiery aura as he forces his way through their defenses. San gasps in shock, realizing too late that Baek Jung-hyuk is a multi-ability awakener, possessing far more than just the fire they anticipated. Desperate to regain control, Yusan-san spins her tail, whipping the ocean into a frenzy. She activates her mermaid vortex, a massive spiral of crushing water pressure. She sneers at Baek Jung-hyuk, confident that her vortex is impenetrable. She believes the moment he enters the swirling current, he will be crushed to pieces. But Baek Jung-hyuk is no ordinary hunter. He dives straight into the heart of the storm, his shadow-enhanced form cutting through the water like a blade as he closes the distance. Violent burst of red energy explodes within the vortex. Baek Jung-hyuk's counterattack is swift and brutal, ignoring the crushing pressure to strike at the mermaid. The water boils with energy as Baek Jung-hyuk's shadow-infused strike connects. The sheer force of the impact sends shockwaves rippling through the depths. Yusan-san lets out a blood-curdling scream as Baek Jung-hyuk's hand clamps down on her head, his eyes glowing with a terrifying, murderous light. Baek Jung-hyuk's grip is absolute. Despite his own body being eroded by dark energy, he remains relentless, his red eyes fixed on his prey. With a savage display of power, Baek Jung-hyuk detonates a blast of energy. Yusan-san is obliterated, her mermaid bloodline extinguished in an instant. Baek Jung-hyuk feels the demonic bull's power eroding his flesh, but he has learned to master its rules. By covering an enemy in shadow, he can trigger an instant rule-based attack on any point he chooses. He turns his attention to the remaining enemies. The bubble that once felt like a sanctuary now looks like a cage as he prepares his next move. The system identifies a seal, the gold and silver ringed serpent stone carving. Its toxin is rule-based. Gold paralyzes the entire body, while silver separates flesh from bone. En Kupeng watches from his bubble with a mocking sneer. He taunts Baek Jung-hyuk, asking if he really thinks he's safe just because he hasn't touched the toxin yet. With a mental command, Yen Kupeng triggers an explosion. The water around Baek Jung-hyuk erupts in a dual-colored blast of gold and silver energy, intended to end the fight instantly. The scene focuses on Yen Kupeng's malicious face, his eyes wide with the anticipation of a gruesome victory. Baek Jung-hyuk reacts instantly, calling out water compress. He manipulates the surrounding ocean to trap the spreading toxin within a pressurized sphere of water. The gold and silver toxins swirl violently against the water barrier. Baek Jung-hyuk's control is absolute, refusing to let the rule-based poison touch his skin. En Kupeng's smirk vanishes, replaced by a look of pure disbelief. He screams that the rules of the seal are not supposed to be this easy to avoid. Baek Jung-hyuk looks on with cold indifference. He muses that perhaps the only way to deal with a pollutant is to use another, his power beginning to flare. The abyss turns crimson as Baek Jung-hyuk unleashes a catastrophic wave of red energy. The entire underwater battlefield is consumed by his overwhelming power, leaving no room for escape. A powerful figure is consumed by a crimson tide, his energy manifesting as dark, jagged tendrils. The sheer force of his presence warps the very space around him, a display of overwhelming might. A terrified voice echoes through the blood-red domain, questioning the identity of the monstrous figure. A green-haired man stares in horror at the menacing silhouette. He accuses his opponent of harboring something unnatural, his voice laced with disgust and fear as the nature of the crimson energy unsettles him deeply. Green-haired man reveals a mystical wisp, explaining its property. Any object it touches will be randomly teleported elsewhere. He laments being trapped and hopes this wisp can banish his opponent. Before he can act, a question mark appears over his head as a mysterious woman, encased in a protective bubble, snatches the wisp away. The girl holding the stolen wisp taunts him, declaring that his dream of escaping alone is over and that the item now belongs to her. A notification confirms her successful acquisition. However, the stolen wisp reacts violently, erupting in a blinding flash of energy that she clearly did not anticipate. The unexpected explosion sends the girl reeling, her body floating helplessly within her protective bubble, stunned by the backlash. Green-haired man scoffs, revealing a different orb capable of inducing a deep coma. He explains it is highly effective against physical threats, mocking the girl for her foolish attempt to steal his treasure. He activates the new orb, which glows with an intense, radiant light in his hand as he prepares to unleash its effects. Enveloped in a swirling vortex of blue energy within his own bubble, the green-haired man asserts his dominance over the domain. Figure wreathed in dark red energy is subtly affected by the blue swirling energy, indicating the man's power is starting to take hold. The green-haired man stands firm within his energy barrier, the blue currents of his power emanating outwards to control his surroundings. Suddenly, a look of sheer panic contorts the green-haired man's face as he realizes he cannot escape, muttering in disbelief at his predicament. He frantically struggles, surrounded by multiple blue energy orbs, desperately trying to break free as his attempts prove futile. The vast crimson abyss, several pillars of blue energy pierce downwards, creating ripples in the blood-red landscape amidst a clash of opposing powers. His face etched with terror, the green-haired man gasps as the full scope of his situation dawns on him. He laments being dragged into this realm by his rival, which has trapped his abilities. Counting his remaining skills within the bubble, he realizes his offensive options are dangerously limited. Observing his opponent in the distance, the green-haired man orders his death, justifying it by the danger of letting such unstable power get out of control. The protagonist, still radiating immense red energy, expresses satisfaction as he begins to bring the surrounding domain under his absolute control. His eyes narrow as he registers the hostile intent. He dismissively retorts, suggesting his opponent must be tired of living to challenge him now. With a burst of speed, the protagonist moves, his red energy trailing behind him in a powerful display of intent. A system notification describes an instinctive movement technique that allows for instantaneous teleportation, enabling a lethal strike in a flash. In an instant, the protagonist appears directly behind the green-haired man, catching him completely off guard. The green-haired man's face contorts in shock, a trickle of blood at his mouth, as he realizes he cannot match this level of speed and efficiency. With a sinister grin, the protagonist explains the true power of his domain, the ability to transfer objects and himself anywhere within the space. Demonstrating his ability, the protagonist manipulates a massive, golden entity within the red domain, directing its power toward the terrified man. The green-haired man screams in sheer terror as he braces for the impending, overwhelming attack. The projectiles slam into the green-haired man within his bubble, causing him immense pain as the protagonist's dominion over the battlefield is confirmed. The energy orbs pulse with a violent, rhythmic light, signaling the absolute end of the struggle. Within the dark void, the spheres of power expand, ready to consume everything in their path. The man hovers effortlessly, his cold, red eyes fixed on the power he has claimed as he decides to inspect it further. With a smirk, he turns his attention back to his opponent, intent on making the man disappear from existence. The opponent screams in pure agony as the golden light begins to tear him apart. Blood spatters as he bellows in rage, realizing too late that his unfinished business will never be settled. He activates an ability that allows him to wrap targets in impenetrable spheres. Clenching his fist, he finds the situation unexpectedly rewarding, his confidence growing with every new power he claims. The enemy is sucked into the abyss, leaving nothing behind but the lingering traces of an overwhelming aura. Nearby, a woman floats unconsciously within a protective bubble, drifting through the crimson-tinted space. He triggers a powerful skill, intending to use it as a supplement for his existing abilities. He notes a grim requirement for the skill. The activation condition demands the use of one of her hands. Without hesitation, he utilizes a technique to sever the limb with clinical precision to facilitate the transfer of power. Next, he initiates a transformation, merging the stolen essence with his own form as red energy surges through his arm. Flexing his newly formed fingers, he reflects on how long it has been since he truly felt the sensation of a physical hand. He gestures toward a small, floating creature, beckoning it to enter his spatial storage. As the creature retreats, he is relieved to know its dark ink will once again shield him from the enemy's gaze. Floating in the depths, he analyzes the items he has obtained, realizing they are highly effective consumables. His inventory is now stocked with lethal tools to cause unconsciousness, facilitate teleportation, and dissolve bone. He holds up a rare item that offers him a vital insurance policy to stay alive against the threat he faces. He ponders his escape from this distorted domain, recalling how long another had been sealed here. Suddenly, shock washes over him as he realizes the unconscious woman has completely vanished from the area. Scanning the vast, empty domain, he wonders who could have possibly saved her when so many others were present. Panic sets in as the ink fails to block the enemy's sight, and he feels a terrifying corruption spreading through his body. Ripping his shirt open, he stares in horror at the jagged red markings on his chest, realizing he has been severely polluted. With the system failing and enemies closing in, the path to survival has never been more narrow. What will happen next? Stay tuned to find out in the next chapter. Realizing that the previous method has completely failed, he decides to take matters into his own hands. To truly restrain the creature, he knows he must track it down personally. He prepares to move, knowing the first priority is to escape his current location and find a better vantage point. Activating an ability, his lower body transforms into a powerful aquatic tail, allowing him to navigate the depths with ease. His red eyes narrow with cold determination. He needs to find the others and gather intel, but his resolve is absolute. If anyone stands in his way, he'll kill them and harvest their abilities. Cutting through the water like a torpedo, he leaves a massive wake behind him as he heads toward the surface. The ocean surface erupts as he breaches, sending a massive spray of seawater into the air. He leaps gracefully from the waves, his aquatic form catching the light as he surveys his surroundings. Below the surface, the sight is haunting. Countless massive creatures lie dormant in the deep, and he wonders if this is a dangerous pollutant he's heard of. The dark, vertical silhouettes of the massive creatures fill the abyss, creating an eerie and oppressive atmosphere. He swims carefully between the giants. To crack the hidden rules of this place, he must investigate every detail with extreme caution. Suddenly, a sharp warning rings out from above, telling him not to come any closer. His instincts flare. His heightened senses catch a sound from the sea surface. He looks up, wondering if he's finally found another survivor. Surfacing near a small boat, he looks toward the figure on board to see if they were the one shouting. A blonde woman peers over the edge. She's relieved he heard her, but her tone is transactional. She wants him to provide food as a reward for her help. He pauses, recalling a fruit plate he brought with him. He considers the value of his supplies in this strange place. The woman eyes him suspiciously, correctly guessing that he's a newcomer to this area. Desperate for sustenance, she offers him a significant payment, claiming it doesn't even matter if the food isn't fresh. He dismisses the offer of money. He's more curious about how she knew he was new and if she can see through the water. She explains that only a rookie would waste energy creating waves like that. In this zone, energy cannot be restored, making every ability use a precious resource. When he suggests hunting the creatures for meat, she warns him that such a move is a death sentence. The deal is his only safe bet. Deciding to play along, he manifests an ability to produce honey. He offers it to her, but demands information in exchange. The woman is ecstatic. She mentions that others here are so depraved they've tried to sell her human flesh, so real food is a miracle. After consuming the honey, she sighs in relief, feeling as though she's been brought back to life. She savors the taste, her hunger finally abated after what seems like an eternity of starvation. A predatory glint enters her eyes as she licks her lips. She recognizes his ability and begins to formulate a new plan. Introducing herself as a merchant leader, she offers to trade anything he sees for a steady supply of honey. He tests her boundaries, asking how far her offer extends. He flashes a mocking smile. She doesn't flinch, suggesting that many things are possible depending on how much honey he can provide. Sensing the conversation is getting dangerous, he tries to back away, claiming he wants to reconsider the deal. She leans in closer with artificial warmth. She insists that they can talk it over and that he can make an offer on anything. He pushes her back with a firm hand. He has no interest in her games. He just wants to know the way out. The woman puts on a pouting, helpless act. She claims if there were an exit, she wouldn't be stuck here herself. He asks if she's willing to do everything to protect him if they're truly trapped, searching for her true intentions. She leans in one more time, making a final attempt to trigger a special ability. System data reveals her nature. She has an ability that becomes more effective with every failed request. But he isn't like most people. Before she can finish her manipulation, his hand shoots out and clamps around her throat. Pinning her to the deck, he reveals he has a mental barrier that makes her influence completely useless. His expression turns murderous. He was hoping for a quick exit, but since the locals aren't friendly, he decides it's better to just eliminate them. Terrified and gasping for air, the woman begs for her life, promising to do anything if he'll just let her go. Still pleading, the woman insists Baek Jung-hyuk cannot trust her promises. Unfazed, Baek Jung-hyuk tells her to relax and not resist his gift as a system notification flashes. 67 Persuasion B level, indicating his power level at 20978. The system warns that if a request is not fulfilled, the next will be even more persuasive. The woman, now seated on a small boat, muses that what Baek Jung-hyuk called a gift feels more like a threat. She reflects on the 6 clans who monopolized all resources, never anticipating the emergence of someone like him. With a chilling smile, Baek Jung-hyuk demands all the information she possesses, his hand glowing with a sinister purple energy as persuasion activates. Under the influence of persuasion, the woman reveals their location. The Whale's Dream, a polluted domain with unbreakable rules. She explains that within the Sealer's prison, used by the Jeong family to trap formidable opponents, power levels cannot be restored without food, and there is no concept of time or land, only whales. Baek Jung-hyuk questions the Jeong family's involvement, stating he hasn't offended them. The woman clarifies that the Jeong family's primary business is assassination, often hired to eliminate those outside the 6 clans. Baek Jung-hyuk presses for more details, demanding to know if the Ji family is part of the 6 clans and what their relationship is with the Jeong family. The woman continues, listing the primary businesses of the 6 clans. The Kwon family in commerce, the Ji in research, the Jeong in assassination, the Yen in seals and sealed object trading, the Kong in gold panning, and the Jeong, whose activities remain shrouded in mystery. Standing up decisively, Baek Jung-hyuk declares they should go, leaving the woman to question his destination. The predatory grin, Baek Jung-hyuk reveals his plan to confront the starving sealers of the 6 clans. He intends to extract all their abilities and power levels to execute his own business plan. The woman cries out in despair, emphasizing the futility of any power or status within this domain, believing escape is impossible. Baek Jung-hyuk's command rings out, a simple comply. Under his influence, the woman meekly responds, yes. Baek Jung-hyuk's shirt rips open, revealing a surge of crimson energy as he declares his S-rank demonic bull power will overcome even this A-rank polluted domain. He vows to slaughter every whale if necessary to find a way out. The scene shifts to a school engulfed in flames, thick smoke billowing into the night sky. A voice laments the tragedy, noting that not a single soul was left alive within the entire school. Below, emergency vehicles line the streets as investigators search through the devastation. A concerned voice questions the whereabouts of the sealing objects used for the test, unable to sense them at all. Inside a car, an old man with a flowing white beard explains to an unnamed girl that the sealing objects were mere derivatives, all wiped out during an event called Golden Bull Ascends. The unnamed girl, with a somber expression, asks if he, as the principal, intends to explain this tragedy in person. Outside, a frantic crowd of parents screams for answers behind police tape, distraught over their children's deaths. One wails about their child's lost greatness, demanding to know the nature of this assessment and for the person in charge to appear. The old man, his face grim, states with chilling pragmatism that in this era of contaminants, they must learn to live with loss. A blue light emanates from inside the car as the old man identifies a sealing object, memory beacon. With a whoosh, he observes its function, a marker for instant teleportation, remarking on its convenience. In the principal's office, the two appear in a flash of blue light. The unnamed girl questions the convenience of memory marker teleportation, explaining that it consumes lifespan based on distance and time. The old man then reveals why the research-focused G family rejected such sealing objects, deeming them a lose a million to hurt 1,000 proposition. The unnamed girl's eyes glow golden as she confidently states that her unique golden blood can seal any contaminant. She further reveals that the Golden Bull Ascends event itself was named after her successful sealing of it. The old man counters, asserting that the very 1,000 sacrificed in that equation was, in fact, the key to humanity's survival. As the old man walks away, he remarks that the reincarnated individual still hasn't discovered this hidden place. The unnamed girl, surprised, asks if he even foresaw this person's rebirth. Back in the polluted domain, Baek Jung-hyuk's face is streaked with blood, a chilling smile on his lips. He observes that all his blood was used, implying the valuable nature of what he acquired. Then he menacingly asks, "Pushkin, did you get what you wanted?" A massive whale floats lifelessly as its heart and liver, now imbued with dark purple energy, are forcibly extracted with a resounding clang. Below the colossal organs, Baek Jung-hyuk stands, surrounded by violent purple energy, as he compresses the whale's spleen, lungs, and kidneys, along with all his own organs, into a dense mass punctuated by more clang sounds. Clutching his chest, Baek Jung-hyuk activates a cascade of abilities: extreme survival, regeneration, healing magic, and restore. Most critically, he initiates object fusion, drawing the powerful whale organs into himself. A searing SSSHHHH sound fills the air as vibrant purple and blue energies swirl and merge within Baek Jung-hyuk's chest, signifying the intense fusion process. Baek Jung-hyuk stands tall, a triumphant, almost maniacal grin on his face. He exclaims that it worked, and reveals that while he couldn't regenerate the organs Pushkin took, the whale's organs not only brought him back to life, but are now even better. The powerful inhale, Baek Jung-hyuk draws in a torrent of water, his newly enhanced body adapting to the aquatic environment. Underwater, Baek Jung-hyuk extends his arms, effortlessly conjuring a colossal whirlpool that churns the ocean around him, a testament to his newfound power. The woman, still on the boat, peers nervously into the water, wondering what has transpired. She questions if Baek Jung-hyuk was killed or if some new, unknown entity has appeared. Suddenly, water violently splashes around the boat, startling the woman as she exclaims, "Huh!" The boat is violently tossed by a gargantuan wave, sending the woman screaming as a massive splash erupts from the ocean's depths. From beneath the churning waters, Baek Jung-hyuk observes the colossal whirlpool, realizing that even compressed, the whale's organs retain their immense power. A single breath from him can now stir the entire ocean. Baek Jung-hyuk clutches his chest, a thoughtful expression on his face, as he notes a critical side effect. Every heartbeat sends blood surging through his vessels like high-pressure jets, leaving him with a severe case of hypertension. Scene abruptly shifts to a sterile room, where a single unsettling eyeball lies on the floor. A voice exclaims in shock, "It failed." The camera zooms in on the eyeball, its iris a mesmerizing, intricate red floral pattern, as a desperate voice cries out, "Why? Why? Why?" The moment Baek Jung-hyuk donned the red raincoat, he was violently pulled into a contaminated world, a realm of eternal rain. He instantly recognized it as a contaminant's creation, a place where rain never ceased and escape seemed impossible, yet a flicker of defiance remained within him. Cat Mask, a crucial tool, allowed Baek Jung-hyuk to perceive this rainy world through the eyes of a contaminated cat, granting him the unique ability to move freely within it as a contaminant. Baek Jung-hyuk knew the all-knowing lens could pinpoint the exit and project the cat's perspective to locate it. Since he had given the lens to Star, he instead used the black monkey paw, a wish-granting substitute, to make his desire to find the exit a reality. With a sealed world of eternal rain, a freely moving cat, and an object guaranteed to find the exit, Baek Jung-hyuk realized he could use these very rules to restrain other rules, turning the system against itself. Once activated, this intricate system would allow Baek Jung-hyuk to freely traverse between both worlds, effortlessly dodge any incoming attack, and even transport objects into the rainy dimension. Furthermore, he could even seal away contaminants that proved too formidable to handle in the outside world, trapping them within the rainy realm. A sudden, sharp realization jolts the consciousness within the eye. The eye's attention is drawn to a gleaming object resting on the discarded red raincoat, a new piece in the intricate puzzle. The consciousness within the eye observes a past interaction, remarking on Baek Jung-hyuk's cautious nature. Xing recalls Baek Jung-hyuk returning the lens, a cautious move driven by his reluctance to possess a new contaminant without understanding its full capabilities. He ponders his current state, realizing a fourth contaminant had slipped in during the fusion of three. Now, having absorbed the all-knowing lens, Bai Xing decides to use its power to ask, what has he become? The all-knowing lens reveals a chilling truth. The original entity is dead. Only its consciousness remains, soon to be assimilated by the contaminant and achieve full sentience. Bai Xing absorbs this revelation. Bai Xing reflects on his new existence, possessing human thoughts yet no longer truly human. Elsewhere, a man in a cap consults his female companion, weighing their options, to engage or retreat. Seo Ha-yun, recognizing the enemy's strength, advises checking the status of the other team before making a move. Seo Ha-yun makes a call, asking for an update. The voice on the other end reports that they haven't located the target and Mitch is dead, inquiring about her team's situation. Julia Jiang, relaxed, reports that her team encountered no issues, having disposed of one target by tossing him into the ominous whale dream. As for the other target, Roger's daughter, Julia Jiang states they still haven't managed to locate her. Julia Jiang deduces that Roger employed a decoy, dressing someone in the target's clothes. She dismisses it as a poorly executed trick, noting the obvious difference in body size that only an idiot would fall for. Julia Jiang clarifies her principles, stating she only kills when necessary and never involves ordinary people. She is patiently waiting for the real target to reveal themselves. New, furious individual, Xenia Xia, is introduced, her anger palpable. Xenia Xia confronts Julia Jiang, demanding to know how she can be so certain of the target's death after merely throwing him into the whale dream. She vehemently insists on seeing a body, slamming her hands down in frustration. Calmly, Julia Jiang explains the grim reality of the whale dream. Anyone who enters never returns. There are no resources, and once consciousness is lost, they transform into a whale, making a corpse impossible to find. Julia Jiang apologizes for Xenia Xia's sister but emphasizes that they cannot confirm the target was the killer. Their primary orders are to eliminate the Ji family and ensure the target leaves, a priority that must not be forgotten. Xenia Xia screams in anguish, questioning why her beautiful sister is dead while those two get to live. She insists that even if he's not the killer, he undoubtedly holds crucial information. Her grief is compounded by the memory of a planned beach vacation with her sister, now impossible. Julia Jiang abruptly ends the call, instructing the others to stay safe as the line goes dead. The massive, imposing building stands silhouetted against the night sky, its central emblem glowing faintly. The man in the cap urgently warns Seo Ha-yun that the target has acquired a second trait, directly observing him. The consciousness within the eye, Bai Xing curses, realizing the immediate necessity to retreat into the rainy world. Despite his haste, Bai Xing expresses shock, realizing he has still been marked by the pursuing threat as red rain streaks around him. The furry, wolf-like creature's eyes glow with an ominous purple energy, emitting a low, vibrating hum. Bai Xing deduces that escaping this power would require a contaminant of at least B level. He explains that by using observable traits as filters, any target matching 4 traits is instantly killed, a rule even contaminants aren't immune to. He realizes that escaping into another world offers no protection, meaning the rule's devastating range encompasses the entire world. Seo Ha-yun exclaims in alarm as 2 ominous purple lights suddenly appear on her forehead, marking her as a target. The man in the cap reassures Seo Ha-yun, stating that 2 more traits are needed for the filter to activate, giving them a brief reprieve. The man in the cap realizes the critical danger, vowing not to let the enemy identify a 3rd trait of his. The man in the cap commands Seo Ha-yun to follow him, as they quickly move past the menacing wolf-like creature. Seo Ha-yun observes that the target should also be marked with 2 lights by now, wondering about the elusive 3rd trait as they still haven't physically seen him. From above, the voice of Bai Xing echoes, confirming their inability to see him, a chilling implication of his unseen presence. Unseen, Bai Xing's menacing gaze locks onto his next target. There's still one more. I can't let her have time to think. With a sudden whoosh, the shimmering energy streaks through the storm. Inside a locker room, a female target taunts her pursuer. Ha ha ha, you'll never catch me. In this form, I'm unbelievably fast and agile. Blue lightning crackles around her feet as she pushes off, a zzz sound emphasizing her enhanced speed. The woman looks back, stunned by the eye's relentless pursuit. That's fast. The eye slams against a locker door with a splash. She challenges him. Come find me in the cabinet, if you can, that is. She reaches high, her hand grasping for a locker handle with a decisive grab. A frustrated clang rings out as her expression hardens, realizing escape won't be easy. She scales the towering lockers, surveying the metallic labyrinth below. The eye hovers over a desk as a male figure questions, "Is she dead?" The eye rests on the woman's chest. Bai Xing confirms, her heart's still beating, but her consciousness is gone. Suddenly, a powerful stomp shatters the water's surface, shifting the focus. Baek Jung-hyuk bursts from the depths with a powerful splash, and whoosh, his gaze fixed on a distant boat. He ascends rapidly, a whoosh accompanying his flight toward the ship. With a clang, Baek Jung-hyuk lands on the deck, splintering the wooden planks. Baek Jung-hyuk kneels as 3 men notice him. One mutters, What's Julia up to now?" William Yen, a bald man, scowls. "Another newcomer? How annoying," he grumbles. Owen Kong, wielding a golden armor shield, offers a grin. "Don't say that, we're bored anyway. Maybe he'll be fun." Harem Kong addresses the newcomer directly. "You look new. Where are you from, kid?" Baek Jung-hyuk smirks. "No place in particular. I just heard you guys are doing pretty well and thought I'd drop by." One of the men identifies a small boat approaching. It's that woman from the Quan Trading Guild. William Yen prepares his mouth cannon, a tiss sound signaling the release. Raged, Owen Kong flares with golden energy. "You've gone too far." Baek Jung-hyuk manifests white wings and soars, effortlessly avoiding a red energy zap from Owen's fist. Owen Kong's golden armor glows as he boasts, "Ha! Those low-level abilities are about as effective as a flybite. They can't hurt me." Floating above the ship, Owen taunts him. "This place doesn't allow energy recovery. How long can you keep burning through yours?" Baek Jung-hyuk's eyes narrow, activating telekinesis hand. With a whoosh, a massive blue hand of telekinetic energy surges towards Owen Kong. The colossal hand seizes Owen Kong. "Whoa!" he cries out, caught in a firm grab. Baek Jung-hyuk ascends further, dragging the captured Owen high above the ship. On the deck, William and Heron stare in disbelief. Did Owen get taken? How can one person have so many abilities? Terrified William Yen shouts, "After him, he's trying to split us up." Heron Kong's face twists into a mask of fury at the sudden turn of events. Heron Kong reminds the others, "We need to hold this position. Have you forgotten our orders?" William Yen ignores him. "Get me a boat. I'm going after him." William Yen plunges into the small boat with a forceful splash as he begins the pursuit. Baek Jung-hyuk stands over the defeated Heron Kong. "I killed 2 of your men. They died for nothing, and now you're inviting me to join you." Blonde man, unfazed, reveals the true nature of their predicament, stating that no one truly perishes within the whale dream. They are merely lost, much like the whales themselves. Baek Jung-hyuk scoffs, his transformed arm crackling with power. He demands the blonde man's ability, Gift of Life, recognizing its potential utility. The blonde man's smirk widens, taunting Baek Jung-hyuk about his ability to copy or steal powers. He then declares his intent to demonstrate something truly interesting. With a powerful declaration, the blonde man activates Golden Shield Body, his form enveloped in a blinding golden aura, accompanied by a resounding clang. Baek Jung-hyuk's eyes widen in stark surprise, his face contorted in disbelief at the display of power. The blonde man announces his next move, activating the sea-level upgraded Flash Eyes, his gaze erupting with dazzling light. A torrent of blinding light erupts from the blonde man, forcing Baek Jung-hyuk to wince and cry out in frustration as he's overwhelmed. From his prone position, Baek Jung-hyuk retaliates, unleashing a concentrated mouth cannon blast directly at his opponent. With a fierce grimace, Baek Jung-hyuk activates his own golden armor shield, a golden aura flaring around him in defense. The mouth cannon strikes with explosive force, a fiery projectile tearing through the ship's mast, causing a massive boom. The blonde man, undeterred, conjures a colossal iron palm cage from the deck, a metallic hand rising to capture Baek Jung-hyuk. The enormous metallic hand slams shut with a powerful whoosh, trapping its target within its grasp. Intricate rules of the whale dream are laid bare. Inflicting harm on a whale or oneself leads to cognitive contamination, risking transformation into a whale. Losing consciousness also results in disappearance. It is implied, however, that this dream holds a deeper, more complex layer, serving as a prison for the 6 families. Seo Hyun lets out a pained grunt, highlighting the harsh reality. The third rule is revealed. Only concepts understood by the whales hold true within this dream, a fact exemplified by the inability to fly. Baek Jung-hyuk's expression darkens, his red eyes burning with realization as he unveils what he believes to be the fundamental rule that makes the whale dream a prison. The grim truth of the whale dream is laid bare. Humans are trapped, unable to awaken. Only whales possess that power, and a dreaming whale can create a dream within a dream, condemning any human-turned whale to an eternal, inescapable cycle. Baek Jung-hyuk observes the blonde man, pondering how he managed to exploit the whale dream's rules and manipulate its very fabric. A glowing, ethereal object, identified as a ghost bug, is discovered on the wooden deck. Deep within the ship, the missing members of the 6 families are found in a deep slumber, yet defying the rules, they haven't transformed into whales, confirming a suspicion. A sinister smirk plays on Baek Jung-hyuk's lips as he considers the dark possibilities, collecting the dormant sleepers in his spatial backpack, or perhaps draining their abilities first. The blonde man appears puzzled, a question mark hovering above his head as he remarks on a move he hasn't witnessed in a long time. An older man, holding a shuriken, remarks with a knowing smirk that he hasn't witnessed such a move in a long time. Baek Jung-hyuk, his anger flaring, taunts the kneeling blonde man, declaring that a man missing his right hand stands no chance of copying his abilities. Internally, he marks the blonde man as his first target. Blonde man, a confident smirk playing on his lips, proposes a decisive final move, asserting that if he wins, Baek Jung-hyuk will belong to him, promising good treatment. Baek Jung-hyuk retorts with a defiant smirk, declaring he would sooner die than serve the blonde man, challenging him to reveal the source of his overconfidence. The blonde man, surrounded by crackling blue energy, dismisses Baek Jung-hyuk's talent as F-level, describing its owner as a mental prisoner plagued by weakened cognition and emotional instability. He then challenges Baek Jung-hyuk to feel the effects. The blonde man's face contorts in anger, demanding to know if Baek Jung-hyuk isn't suffering from the very curse he inflicted, questioning if he's been fighting under such a burden all along. Baek Jung-hyuk lets out a sly chuckle, revealing that the burden hasn't affected him the entire time, noting that it hasn't even been a full day. Baek Jung-hyuk leaps from the mast, declaring the barrier gone and challenging the blonde man's ability to stop him. He taunts his opponent about the energy cost of long-range attacks and the futility of pursuit if he were to teleport. The blonde man, enraged, demands to know if he's being taunted. With a cunning smirk, Baek Jung-hyuk plans to exploit the blonde man's hesitation, intending to transform into a shadow and slip into the ship to gather more power. Blonde man's face hardens with disappointment as he confronts Baek Jung-hyuk's decision to defy him. The blonde man's eyes ignite with a fierce, golden glow, signaling a surge of power. A menacing smile spreads across the blonde man's face as he reveals his initial hope of making Baek Jung-hyuk his trusted subordinate. Blonde man's colossal, glowing visage looms over Baek Jung-hyuk, who is engulfed in a blinding flash of light as the Sweet Dream Returns ability activates. Baek Jung-hyuk cries out in agony and shock, enveloped by a surge of purple energy, realizing this power stems from the very rules of the whale dream itself, questioning how his opponent can wield it at such a level. Visions flood Baek Jung-hyuk's mind, questioning if they are his own memories. A smiling man speaks of a gift of life user, suggesting they join the family's sealing squad, implying a plan and the need for backup. In a distressing vision, the blonde man points frantically at trucks, realizing they are transporting food in vehicles previously used for contaminants, warning of the potential for widespread contamination. The ship floats above, while beneath it, colossal whales glide silently through the deep, reinforcing the dream's ethereal nature. The blonde man floats motionlessly beneath the waves. An observer notes his escape from the immediate predicament. The observer, a blonde figure, expresses astonishment at how Baek Jung-hyuk managed to instantly grasp the situation and pinpoint their exact location, even as the blonde man floats motionlessly beneath the waves. Blonde observer ponders Baek Jung-hyuk's sudden, intense resistance, questioning why he fought so fiercely when his situation wasn't dire, almost as if he knew about the ability Sweet Dream Returns. The blonde man, now identified as the blonde dreamer, laments their near success, revealing that everything within the whale dream is recorded, and his link to it allows him to know precisely what transpired. The blonde observer reveals the critical information. Baek Jung-hyuk utilized the powerful ability Rebirth Drop. With a look of frustration, the blonde observer acknowledges the truth, realizing their current methods of dream implantation through memory sharing are insufficient without powerful dream manipulation abilities, and declares an urgent need for reinforcements. The blonde dreamer, now sitting up, notes that Julia is deploying fewer individuals into the dreamscape, emphasizing the necessity for them to venture further and explore the outer reaches. As they walk across the curving dreamscape, the blonde dreamer declares that the whale dream has been fully explored and it's time to announce their new era plan to the world. A soft plip sound echoes as the blonde figure's shoes disturb the watery surface, signaling a transition. The visual melt effect, both blonde figures begin to dissolve into the watery depths of the dream, their forms disintegrating. Baek Jung-hyuk, now a glowing, ethereal form, questions how to escape this void, debating whether to sit or crawl. He ultimately chooses to walk, lost in a timeless, endless expanse, having no concept of how long he has been moving. Baek Jung-hyuk feels himself fading, slowly disappearing without a goal or direction, the very essence of his self slipping away. Profound realization dawns. All collected abilities and past experiences are not mere memories, but vital nutrients that fuel the growth and strengthening of one's true self. Baek Jung-hyuk, with a determined gaze and a radiant glow on his forehead, commands his powers, activating black shadow and luminescence to assert his will. A blinding flash of purple energy erupts around the glowing form of Baek Jung-hyuk as he fully manifests his power, shaking the very fabric of the dream. Jung-hyuk, now radiating light, confronts the dark, shadowy entity with piercing red eyes that has manifested beneath him, demanding to know its nature. The shadowy entity responds, revealing its true identity. I am you. I'm your doubt, the part of you that emerges when you lose your way and start questioning yourself. Baek Jung-hyuk struggles to move, the shadow clinging to his leg, and questions if his own strength is insufficient to escape this predicament, his resolve tested. The scene shifts dramatically, rewinding time to 15 minutes ago, revealing a modern building under a dark, moonlit sky, establishing a new context. Seo Ha-yeon sits amidst a mountain of empty plates, her expression worried as she notes that half an hour has passed with no sign of Baek Jung-hyuk, wondering if something has befallen him. Despite her worry, Seo Ha-yeon continues to eat, taking a bite of a sausage, a momentary distraction from her concern. Seo Ha-yeon activates her ability, initiating a heat sensory sweep as radiating lines of light burst forth from her, scanning her surroundings for any anomalies. Sensory sweep instantly reveals the thermal signatures of 6 people across 2 tables, a couple and a family of 4, providing immediate situational awareness. A wave of distress washes over Seo Ha-yeon as her comprehensive scan yields no trace of Baek Jung-hyuk, confirming his unsettling absence. Seo Hyun rises, her expression hardening with resolve. She knows she must act, declaring that whether it's an enemy or a contaminant, she will eventually have to face them alone. Her determination solidifies, a silent promise to confront whatever lies ahead, her resolve unwavering. Seo Hyun begins to move, her heavy steps echoing with thud, thud, thud. She muses internally about her massive caloric intake, which has synthesized a huge amount of fat, wondering if she now weighs 100 or even 150 kilos. She reveals the secret to her unique physique. Under the control of her ability, all the accumulated fat becomes weightless, acting as a formidable, floating armor. With her unique ability active, Seo Hyun strides past a restroom sign, her form unaffected by the immense mass she carries. She then delivers a devastating punch, accompanied by a resounding boom, asserting that to anyone else, a single strike from her could rival the power of the strongest boxer in the world. The scene cuts to a hand turning on a water faucet, a sharp squeak echoing in the quiet, a mundane action after the display of power. From outside the building, an urgent shout of HUI pierces the calm, clear blue sky, signaling a new development. The air itself seems to ripple as a swift, powerful strike cuts through the serene outdoor setting with a resounding whoosh. The unnamed purple-haired student, her eyes burning with fierce determination, unleashes another rapid swing of her weapon, the sound of displaced air echoing her effort. A stern-faced bodyguard, observing her relentless practice, advises the unnamed purple-haired student that she has already completed 10,000 swings for the day and should take a much-needed rest. But the unnamed purple-haired student, undeterred, vehemently declares that 10,000 swings are far from enough, her weapon slicing through the air with a series of sharp swish sounds. From a nearby chair, a gray-haired man, casually chewing on something, mocks her efforts, telling her to stop being a tryhard. He coldly reminds her that without awakening her abilities, she remains useless and vulnerable to death at any moment. The cruel words clearly strike a nerve as the unnamed purple-haired student's eyes narrow, her expression a mix of fury and frustration. With a furious whoosh of displaced grass, the unnamed purple-haired student slams her foot down, her anger palpable. In a sudden burst of rage, the unnamed purple-haired student swings her weapon, striking the gray-haired man directly in the face, a clear mark of impact. Stunned and knocked back in his chair, the gray-haired man yells in disbelief, demanding to know what she thinks she's doing. A sinister grin spreads across the gray-haired man's face as dark purple energy crackles around him, challenging her to a spar with her own cousin. Bodyguard quickly steps in, addressing the gray-haired man as young Master Lucian and sternly warning him that he'll report his mere 10 minutes of training to the main family. Suddenly, the scene shifts to a different, darker location, where a girl is violently thrown through the air, hitting the ground with a resounding bang. Baek Jung-hyuk watches in shock. Baek Jung-hyuk, his red eyes wide with concern, immediately calls out, asking if everyone is all right. The injured, unnamed, purple-haired student, battered and bruised, desperately urges Baek Jung-hyuk to run, to escape the danger. Baek Jung-hyuk kneels beside her, his expression hardening as he sees the extent of her injuries, lamenting how badly she's been hurt. The unnamed purple-haired student, wincing in pain, insists that this has nothing to do with him and that she will hold them off, urging him to just go. Baek Jung-hyuk rises, his left arm glowing with ominous purple energy, declaring that this isn't over yet. From behind them, another purple-haired woman taunts them, confident that they lack the guts to kill her. Strange purple energy hand materializes and covers the unnamed purple-haired student's injured face with a soft buzz, her expression one of utter shock. Baek Jung-hyuk activates his abilities, a system notification flashing. Ability activated. Regeneration, healing magic, restore. A soothing green light envelopes the unnamed purple-haired student. With a chilling, confident grin, Baek Jung-hyuk reassures the now-healed unnamed purple-haired student not to worry, declaring their attackers are dead meat as a green aura radiates from him. The other purple-haired woman stares in disbelief, a thought bubble appearing above her head. He looks so familiar, before she gasps, realizing something profound. A new girl, with short, curly brown hair and red ribbons, hisses in anger, questioning if the Whale Dream prison was truly not an absolute seal after all. The purple-haired woman cries out in horror, realizing the escape must have been from an A-level ceiling item, something from which no one has ever escaped. She chastises herself for her carelessness. With renewed vigor, Baek Jung-hyuk, now wielding a glowing sword, and the unnamed purple-haired student advance, while the two opposing girls cautiously step back. Baek Jung-hyuk, his gaze intense, demands that they tell him everything they know. The curly-haired girl, standing firm, reassures the purple-haired woman not to be scared, asserting that Baek Jung-hyuk and his companion cannot hurt them. The unnamed purple-haired student, observing Baek Jung-hyuk, internally notes how different Star seems now, recalling his demeanor back at school. A sudden realization dawns upon the unnamed purple-haired student, her eyes widening in surprise. The unnamed purple-haired student urgently warns Baek Jung-hyuk to be careful, explaining that the curly-haired girl seems capable of nullifying attacks with her hands. Baek Jung-hyuk maintains a steady gaze, while the unnamed purple-haired student remains cautiously behind him, her hand raised. The curly-haired girl, now radiating a powerful yellow glow, scoffs at their attempts to crack her ability and her sealing item, preparing for battle. With her fists crackling with golden energy, the curly-haired girl defiantly challenges them to come at her, ready to unleash her power with a loud clang. Fists transform into formidable golden gauntlets, ready to strike with explosive force as bang echoes around her. Baek Jung-hyuk stands ready, his glowing sword held confidently, purple energy swirling around his arm and dark orbs hovering nearby as he ponders whether his sword or her shell is stronger. Suddenly, a colossal golden energy column descends from above with overwhelming force as two new figures in the background look up in utter shock and alarm. The colossal golden energy column culminates in a devastating explosion, engulfing a structure in blinding light and raw power. Below, the golden aura girl stands amidst the inferno, seemingly at the heart of the cataclysm. Debris clatters around the golden aura girl, who remains unyielding, surrounded by the remnants of the golden energy. The sheer force of the impact sends fragments of the environment raining down. More shrapnel and dust fill the air, evidence of the immense destructive power unleashed. The sound of crumbling structures echoes through the devastated area. Meanwhile, Baek Jung-hyuk, battered and wounded, struggles to protect his injured companion, who clings to him. He acknowledges the overwhelming pressure from their adversary, admitting that his light-piercing ability barely managed to block her attack. Baek Jung-hyuk's companion, her face etched with concern, urges him to put her down, believing he would be better off dodging attacks without her burden. The golden aura girl, with a sinister smile, taunts them, questioning if they would truly let her escape. Baek Jung-hyuk, a grim smirk on his bloodied face, assures her that he has no intention of letting her go. His companion's expression saddens as she inwardly wonders if she has become a burden to him once more. The reassuring smile, Baek Jung-hyuk dismisses her fears, telling her she is his secret weapon, not a burden. The golden aura girl, surrounded by a new surge of purple energy, challenges Baek Jung-hyuk, daring him to break through her domain. She activates Force Shackles Lockdown, unleashing a wave of purple energy that spreads rapidly, attempting to trap her opponents within her domain. The purple energy expands across the battlefield, forming an inescapable barrier, a testament to her formidable power. The scene shifts to a different location, where the green-haired agent holds a mysterious mirror, discussing it with the silver-haired agent. She offers to look together, noting that the principal is likely already resting in his office. The silver-haired agent remains silent, his expression unreadable behind his sunglasses, contemplating her words. The green-haired agent explains that the mirror is a derivative sealing item from the imprint Mirage, capable of displaying past events, even scenes from within the pollution domains. She insists he take a look, then speculates if the principal knew of his arrival, if he sealed the contaminant, or if he left something for him. Her eyes narrow as she ponders a more unsettling possibility, that the principal might have experimented with his promotion task and revived an ancient god. The silver-haired agent calmly states that an outcome is inevitable since the principal was involved, and he will await the final report from the agency. Mirror flickers, revealing glimpses of various powerful figures and creatures. Baek Jung-hyuk with his wings, a monstrous red entity, and an unknown warrior. More chaotic visions flash across the mirror's surface, including the unnamed reptilian creature, hinting at profound and dangerous events. The mirror continues to show fragmented scenes, including what appears to be a student in a school uniform, suggesting a connection to the ongoing turmoil. With a frustrated "Teich," the green-haired agent strikes the mirror with her whip, complaining that it has become unreliable. She stares at the now darkened mirror, her irritation palpable at its unpredictable nature. With a slight chuckle, the silver-haired agent bids Rebecca farewell, stating his intention to converse with the boy and girl seen in the mirror, implying that doing so is not forbidden. The green-haired agent turns, her face contorted in anger, as she shouts his name, realizing his true intentions. The silver-haired agent, with a self-satisfied smirk, internally declares himself a hero. He walks away from a school building, musing that schools are merely boring cages built to trap the young. A close-up reveals his hand, its nails painted black, hinting at a darker nature beneath his composed exterior. With a chilling smile, the silver-haired agent extends his hand, dark energy swirling around it, declaring that schools need to disappear. He unleashes Annihilation, conjuring massive, buzzing purple void-like spheres that rip through the school buildings, obliterating them instantly. Standing triumphantly over the ruins, the silver-haired agent proudly states that he saved the youth from the confines of the school. With a pleased expression under the sunny sky, he adds that he also saved his Saturday, implying his destructive act was merely a casual pastime. Scene abruptly changes to the silver-haired agent's father, who slams his hand on a table, angrily questioning if his son still refuses to admit he's wrong. His father rages, lamenting that he has to pay for an entire building and that his son's actions have embarrassed him in front of every sealer in the city. The silver-haired agent coolly asks if right and wrong even matter, asserting that such concepts only arose after people with power created those rules. His eyes glowing with a menacing red light behind his sunglasses, he offers to deal with anyone who mocked his father, hinting at a brutal retribution. He declares to his stunned father that this is the era of individualistic power, dismissing his father's traditional views. With a powerful bang, the silver-haired agent unleashes a shattering red energy field, manifesting a glowing sword as his true, terrifying power comes to the fore. The silver-haired agent, his own powerful red energy still surging, looks up in disbelief. He questions how such a high-level contaminant could possibly be controlled, his expression a mix of shock and concern. Despite the overwhelming power, the agent stands firm, raising a defiant hand towards the colossal surge of blue lightning. He declares that these illusions hold no fear for him, channeling his own raw energy amidst the crackling storm. A cataclysmic boom erupts as the blue lightning clashes violently with a monstrous, shadowy entity manifesting from a vortex of red and black energy. The air is rent with devastating impacts. Agent is violently thrown backward, his powerful sword rendered useless on the ground. He cries out in agony and disbelief, realizing the immense rule level of his opponent, a power so vast even the blade of the gods failed to defend him. With no other option, the agent makes a desperate decision. Dark, swirling purple energy erupts from his hands, forming pulsating rings as he prepares to activate his last resort, the gate. As the agent channels his power, multiple dark, spherical entities with ominous purple glows materialize around him. Below, Seo Hyun watches in shock, caught in the devastating red energy field as the gate fully manifests. The ground trembles as a colossal, ancient stone door, intricately carved and pulsing with purple energy, forcefully emerges. This is the gate, now fully summoned, its presence resonating with immense, otherworldly power. Within the gate's ominous red light, a silhouetted figure plummets downwards, its form obscured by the intense energy. The activation of the gate unleashes a profound and terrifying consequence.